It's 109. Dominique, I know you. You are very eager to find out just who's in the house. I told you it would be a surprise for many. I think some of you, as a matter of fact, since he said he would be in the Lions Den, a few people texted me and said, yeah, I know just who that is. But let me say good afternoon to Mr. Sam Raphael, of course, the CEO, if you will, of Jungle Bay, a hotel there in the south of the island where many things are taking place at this time. We're going to basically do a year in review as it relates to tourism. There are many things to talk about, like the road conditions having there is one question we spoke about basically this morning. And, what are our numbers, where we go in the international airport, some of the issues that we will explore. But let's say good afternoon to Mr. Sam Raphael. How are you doing, sir?
Good afternoon to you, Matt. Thanks for the invite, as usual. I love to be here with you and your audience.
You don't feel like you're in the Lions Den anymore?
Well, especially in the afternoon, the lions tend to be calmer. They would have had lunch already and they're laying down. And so, folks out there, really, I'm, just here. And, Merry Christmas to everyone and all the best for the new year as we wind down. We've had a lot of ups and downs this year. I just visited my good friend Bernard Wilshire.
Oh yeah.
He's on the mend. Bernard, hi. I don't know if he's listening.
Yeah, usually does.
But there are lots of people that have gone through a lot of serious health issues. We've lost some good ones this year, so we have to be reflective of that, and we're grateful that we're still here. And I'd like to say hi to the people of Dominica, small business people especially, that are making ends meet. The foundation, the backbone of an economy is the small business people. I just came from Loven's restaurant that's upstairs by the Soufriere Guest House, right on the corner.
All right there.
I
Yes.
told her I'd give her a little shout out, but to
Okay.
her and Pearls and all the other institutions in Dominica, just the small business people, Ruben's Bakery,
You always give
Suki's,
support.
all of those people, man. And yeah, I know it's not easy, it's not easy for any of us. So for those small business people that keep things going, keep the economy going, and keep a little employment, buy this stuff from the local people, keep us going. So I'd like to give a shout out. End of the year, we've made it. Let's be grateful and look forward to better things next year.
But do you think I'm going to go jump right into it? As you mentioned, small business. Do you think we're giving small business all the support that they need at this time?
My favorite half full and half empty. Of course there's more room for support. I mean, I think we're doing some things the best we can. I maybe we should spend a little more focus on the support for the small businesses. There's sometimes little things that we can do that would go a long way for small businesses.
Like?
For instance, find out what they need. What do we need to get to support the small farmers? Is it a road? Is it sometimes it's not big things also, huh? It's a little technical training, it's a little support. They need sometimes I run a bigger business, and when you're a bigger business, you get a little more attention and maybe have a little more clout.
Right.
But I think the small businesses somehow, I don't know if they have the support.
Stepchildren?
Well, I don't know if they have the ear of the decision makers as much as us bigger business people. And so sometimes it's good that we recognize the contribution that they're making and seek to find ways. I think the key is to ask them. I think I know some things, but they're the ones holding the pot handle every day. And
You think there
certainly
should be a conversation going on
there
there?
needs to be more conversation, not just a conversation. And it could be here with you, just like you invited me here. I think small business people should be invited to kind of talk, not just complaints, but maybe they have solutions too,
Hmm.
that people on all sides of the political spectrum, people who are in decision making positions may overlook certain things that have a great impact on the small business people, but they need a little hand, especially when you have prices going up, all kinds of challenges. It's very tight when you're running a business and you depend on the local economy,
Hmm.
and so we have to keep these people going. It's good to bring in new investors, but at least the same amount of energy should be spent trying to support the investors that we do have, and that includes the small business
So
people.
we should. Do you think we should consume more local? We always hear that cry there, consume more local, but we're importing more than we actually producing in that sense.
Yeah, we
There's an imbalance of trade there.
there's an imbalance of trade, and we really need to. I mean, truth be told, Dominica, for an island, we probably consume far more that we produce than other islands. But I think there's still ways we can consume more, and then we can look at exporting more of our agricultural produce. St. Vincent, for instance, they export quite a bit of agricultural produce to Miami. I don't know if you're aware of that, Matt.
Hmm.
What are they doing right? Find out what they're doing and how
And we're not doing.
that we can. So there, you're not reinventing the wheel. I think certainly the Eastern Caribbean, north of Dominica, we should be dominating that with the things that the people like, the produce and so on. They want it fresh. Find out how we can do more. So we have to go back to basics. We used to do more of those things, and somehow we may have gotten, I don't want to say
Kind of laissez faire.
distracted. Well, yeah, but all sorts of things come up and we get caught up in other things. But this is the foundational stuff, and we have to go back to supporting the people so that we don't have to keep migrating out.
A lot of that
Like
is happening.
a lot of that is
People are
happening.
moving to St. Kitts, Antigua.
And a lot of that has always happened, but I think again with greater focus. So now we have to look at this thing with a greater level of maturity, and that's the word I'd like to throw out: maturity. It doesn't
Hmm.
have to always be antagonistic or bombastic. It's educational stuff, and some people, we've gotten so used to always fighting with each other that maybe we don't have appetite for education, for self-development. But I think we need to go back to the foundation to these things, so that and I think the young people too will be more engaged,
Hmm.
because I tell you, I talk to a lot of young people and I mentor them, and those are the things that they're interested in. They're not interested in the constant back and forth. And I think in the wellness sector, we've got some very good models of young people that have done well. They produce things, the Nassif. I think Nassif Foundation, GEMS Foundation, with
Hmm.
Greg Nassif, recently they had an awards program for young entrepreneurs. They asked me to be one of the judges. This was the second year as a judge, and
Okay.
it's just impressive to see the creative minds that we are. We need to encourage that. Huh? We need to encourage that. We spend a lot of time on other things, and we need to spend time focus on encouraging them. People may not be able to mentor or whatever, but at least we could have some appreciation, and those people in a position of authority could probably pay a little more attention to.
I think they have your ears, Sam. Is that something that you would talk to them about?
But I don't know who has my ears. It's still on the side of my head. I think you may be making assumption, but I think they have all of our ears, and collectively we
Hmm.
need to continue to encourage. And I'm not, attacking anyone on this. I'm just saying, I think it's in everyone's interest. We should do more to try to find solutions and find ways to improve the enabling environment for small business in Dublin.
All right, let's talk about something on your doorstep, yeah, as it relates to the Jungle Bay Hotel. I was there recently with some friends that seemed very, very impressive what they saw there, and they actually decided that they were coming back. They don't want to go to Costa Rica anymore. They will come to Jungle Bay. So something there is very important to them.
Thanks, Matt, and thanks for, I don't know, the friends.
Yeah.
When they come back, we'll certainly try to give them a good time. But we, as other providers in Dominica, we found a good niche in the wellness and adventure sector, and Dominica has really been outstanding in that area. And I think there's tremendous room for growth. And you're correct. Dominica has been getting a lot of attention uh, in this area, and there's tremendous opportunities. We recently had a program where a number of the more successful operators. Um, Secret Bay, there's Iwasi, that's Airbnb in Kananago territory. Nietzsche, Lewis Hill is running that. And then we had the folks from the Soufriere guest house. Moses, he came, he's an expat and he was very much into USAID development work in Jamaica and stuff. And
Okay.
he runs now, he has four guest houses in Soufriere to kind of share, and it was keys to success, sharing that more successful industry partners with other people because we need to grow. And the only way we will grow is if we share information because listen, we practically, I need other hotel, Jungle Bay need other hotels to be successful. And I'll tell you two simple reasons why. We must have good airlift to support our clients. And the only way we can get good airlifts is if we have significant numbers flying back and forth. And so if Jungle Bay alone is successful and Secret Bay, and we cannot get sufficient flights in and out so that we can even do business for ourselves.
Mhm.
So for airlift, also for destination marketing, we need to get good revenue so that we can promote the destination, promote Dominica effectively. Dominica is not sufficiently promoted at this
You
point.
don't think so?
Well, no, it's not. We need to do more, and part of it is clearly it's a small economy, and maybe we don't have enough revenue. But even what we have, I think we can refocus some of it to promote the destination more. But in order to get sufficient funds, we need to grow the sector, you know. And so, for those reasons, for all of us to benefit, we need to have a more robust, economy, and we need to create a buzz around the destination. And I do believe, going back to the small business, I didn't plan to talk on that
Hmm.
theme today, but I think the growth will come from those guest houses and the small hotels. Because when I hear the visitors, that's what they like. They like the local small places. It has to be well run, it has to be organized, and it needs
No
to.
Chardel movie kind of thing.
Right, but it doesn't have to be. They're not looking for the Taj Mahal. They're looking for something that says I'm in Dominica, but it has to be clean, well organized, maybe good internet in it, and then the owners need to get into the spirit of the product. So you can't basically have a guest house somewhere and you figure you leave the people in isolation. They don't know Dominica. So when you are promoting your place, you need to find out where can they get a spa treatment, what are the restaurants nearby? How can they get around on the tours? Who can give them a Boiling Lake tour? And then you kind of build, a package and have referrals that you can refer them so that
Mm.
people can come from anywhere.
So
And
everybody
you can
benefit.
have
Everybody benefit.
everybody benefits, but you are now organizing an itinerary for the visitor. And that makes your product stand out and much more interesting. And those are some of the things that we covered, at our session. And we'll continue. I mean, coming from that, we had the head of Discover Dominica, Marva Williams. And I think it was understood from the participants on both sides, those that were sharing and those that were receiving, that it's an ongoing conversation that we need to have and not just a one off conversation. So we need, from an industry standpoint, the people in government, they don't run these businesses, they don't know. They know they do the best they can, but the information must be shared between those that are more successful and those that are trying to get in. And we need to do more of that to everyone's benefit.
So tourism, would you say it's on the rise, or we still have a far of much further distance to travel?
Hard numbers don't lie. And the latter, we have a hard distance to travel. Because when we look at our numbers over the past decade or 2 decades, we haven't seen the increases. I mean, there's no spin on that. That's just the reality. Um, for reasons, we've had hurricanes, we've had a lot of hotels had to shut down. We've had new ones, but it's sort of we haven't gotten on that growth trajectory, and we need to get on that trajectory. We're building a new airport in
So
order
why
to be able to.
why are we not getting there, or why haven't we gotten there just yet? Because I mean, neighboring islands like say Saint Kitts, Saint Lucia, they're doing what we're not doing.
They have been ahead of us for a long time, and I'm not sure that they are growing that rapidly either. Yeah, Caribbean tourism has not been growing that rapidly. We're getting competition from Bali and all these places.
Mhm.
But in Dominica's case, because it is a growing niche, we should be growing faster than the others. And considering where we are with our number of rooms. For instance, Antigua's probably got about 5,000, 6,000 hotel rooms. St. Lucia, something similar to that. St. Vincent, well, mostly in the Grenadines, they've got a little over 3,000. Here, in terms of export ready rooms, I'd be generous to say we have 700. So there's a lot more room for growth on our side. And I think it's a good thing. We just need to get on with it and to support those small business people, the people with small hotels, but people coming into the market, whether they are Dominican born or they come in and Dominican because they love this island. We need to embrace them, and we need to create an enabling environment, and that is environment first. We need to ensure that the island is clean, that we protect the rivers and streams and protect the island and those things, and go through the noise pollution, just certain things. There are things that we can do to improve that enabling environment and focus on that and stay down. And listen, we're not going to create miracles overnight. And anyone that thinks that someone can create a miracle in tourism overnight, they're dreaming. And I would just totally ignore that. But I think we can make incremental steps, and then we will start to see more numbers. We need to buckle down and to do the hard
But
work.
let's talk about cleanliness and underline that word. Are we keeping this island clean? We're not sure about that because I see the rubbish around the place. Like
Well, you
you're
know
not
me,
gonna
I walk
stop.
I walk every day.
I
As
know
you
that. I know, yes.
every day I'm on my walk, and every day I come back to Jungle Bay with hands full of roadside trash. Every single day, the same place we walk. That means every day people litter that same spot. And sometimes when the NEP workers are cleaning, I mean, the bush can camouflage the roadside trash, but it's all over the place. And we need to talk about that, Matt. We need
We
to
need to.
use your platform and my platform and everyone else's platform to remind people, because sometimes it's just negligence, and we just throwing it into the bush. We don't even think about that, but we're destroying our economy when we do that. We're destroying, and I'm not just saying for tourists, for ourselves. We've been blessed with one of the gems of the world, if not the Caribbean, the world. And I think we can do a lot more to in terms of the protection of the environment from a micro level, which is the people driving around and throwing things out, or when you have an event, a function. In Dominica, when you go to a function, there's always a lot of refuse and garbage that we throw. We got to reorient our thinking, man. We can't be we're nature islanders. We're promoting this as the nature island. All of us, we need to be vigilant, and that is, I think, the most important thing that we can do to help to boost the island. As simple as it sounds, is to help to preserve the nature and the environmental integrity of the island.
So, Mr. Raphael, as we speak about the environment, but we're having we're doing a bad job for the past few months, or maybe a year, in terms of the garbage disposal, the picking up of garbage around
Hmm.
communities, villages. We're talking about one garbage truck. Can we do the authorities can do a lot more in terms of preserving what we're talking and trying to keep this island clean?
I'm always mindful when we talk about what the authorities should do, because I know that they have restraints,
Yeah.
specifically financial restraints, and they have a lot of
Hmm.
other priorities and other things to do too. But I think this needs to be elevated in terms of priority, and we need to look at our entire system. Is the landfill, maybe it's too far for people? Maybe we need to find another way to get the trash. We need to look at it from a holistic
Can we
standpoint. We
privatize it?
need possibly could we do more composting? Could we in education with respect to? We really need to take a solid look and reimagine garbage on this island and what we could do and how well we could dispose it and go from there. Because in walking, sometimes I see bottles and cans and stuff, but sometimes you see whole bags of garbage. People put their trash in the car at home and they throw it on the whole bag on the roadside. And is it because the landfill is too far? Is it because whatever? Sometimes you see where they're supposed to collect the trash, it's left there sitting piles and piles. This is the nature island, so I think something as basic and fundamental as that, we can do better. All of us can do better, and this is something that we need to focus on. If the people, I think, if we narrow in on our discipline and we focus on that, I think the authorities would be inclined to go with us. But this is something that we need nationally. We need to
So
make that.
it's not about criticizing the government in this one. We can
Well,
do.
you can't criticize the government. The government is there. You have to criticize the government if you feel there's a need. But we have to come together and work on solutions. And we have to enforce it because I don't think the government is the one that's throwing the trash out. Huh? The enforcement, but we need to sensitize the people also, whether it's through the churches, whether it's through when we have events, we call on people to make sure they throw the things in the trash bin before the events. We make sure we set up proper containers and so on. So there needs to be some kind of national, campaign, some kind of national crusade against trash, I think, in Dominica. And if we do this for a few years and get the young people involved, I think you can transform that. And that,
So
by the way, is going to help
education is key.
education and enforcement. And that, I think, will help to preserve the integrity of the island and help in terms of economic development, because investors, whether it is domestic or foreign, would see the island, as some, in terms of how we protect it, as us being on the right track and ready for investment.
I've heard the discussion going forward. Should we continue to promote Dominica as a nature island of the Caribbean, a nature island of the region? Because clearly, I mean, we're not doing the right job.
Well, instead of renaming it, why don't we do the right job? I think it would be easier to do that. We are the nature island, and we should all live up to that creed and commit ourselves to doing that. And criticizing government, hold the government's feet to the fire. We should all do that in terms of whether it's developments that are happening. Are we funding the planning division enough? Do they have enough resources? And is the will there to make the hard decisions? Sometimes, there's a no, you can't do that. We sometimes, it's not everything shouldn't be a yes, or if you do it, you have to do it a certain way to ensure that we protect the environment. And maybe we can go back to basics on that. But I think, Matt, we've been, as a people, we've lost focus on certain things because we're out, whether government putting out fires every day. I don't mean literal fires, but and the attacks and the fires, that we've forgotten things like the environment and the importance of the environment. And I'll go on record and say that I think we are all at fault for this. And the environment
We should all take
we
responsibility.
should all take responsibility and hold the environment as sacred on this island.
All right, Dominic, it's 1:31. I'm going to allow for you to ask a few questions because we want to make this conversation very interactive. So please, I see some phone calls a few minutes ago. So if you want to ask Sam a question as it relates to the environment, feel free at this time. Are we keeping, should Dominica continue to be referred to as the nature island of the Caribbean? Hello, talk to me. Yes.
Matt, I'm in pretty much agreement with Mr. Raphael. It's just that I don't want to shield the government from its responsibility or minimize its responsibility, because we know they're doing deals with people that are harmful to the environment. And the people in the opposition, or the vocal people on the station, have been calling for, things to be done properly. That is environmental impact assessment. Isn't that an important part of maintaining the nature island? And of course, the garbage, yes, all Dominicans, they seem to be just not so conscious. Most of us seem not to be so conscious about the garbage. They have this concept about what is garbage and who should be dealing with it. They don't deal with it themselves. So anyway, that's as much as I'd like to say, Matt. Good afternoon.
All right. Thank you very much. 449-3095. We're dealing with the environment at this point in time. Hello. Yes. Keeping Dominica clean.
Yes, Mr. Peltier, I like that subject very much.
Okay.
When it comes to cleanliness, I'm good in that. I used to be up in Solomon Lane, and the whole place coming up, going down to the track, I used to deal with that. And it was a solid waste. No, I have a certificate from them. I have one from the environment, and one from my church. But I've ended up in a place down behind the hospital in the lane there, and I promise that when I come there, I'll try to make something out of that. But what I found out that people taking their rubbish and they dumping in or ending up by Do It Center to end up there. And it did a lot of havoc after Hurricane Maria. So I am watching. There is a man. I know three of them now. Three of them are like, if the law ever come, I will point them to them. And they are dumping. And now if you see the bridge is going down, we're just taking chances walking on it. And the rubbish, they cut trees, they throw it, everything, and they're basing that they're inside the rubbish. And I'm standing in my window there. And when people pass, They are going, eating what they're eating, and they just throw it in the rabbit. I am telling you, my heart is hurting me, but there's nothing I because I put that to my parent to I tell her that. She came down, she may be aware, I do not know. I went to the environment there, they said they'll send you people. And up to now, I haven't seen anything there. But I'm telling you, if you come and watch there, and somebody will see what we see, you don't want to see that at all. So, what's his name there?
Mr. Raphael.
Samuel,
Hmm.
I know you very much. When you used to come on your little plane in Dominica with your daughter, my daughter was the one coming out here at Genesis. Her name is Rabriska. So she's in Anguilla. So I want to say that I am aware of what you're saying there. And I want to say, anytime you come to talk, don't refrain anything. Speak the truth at all times. And say what you have to say. Don't be afraid of anybody. Speak for your right and say what you have to say.
All right, caller, thank you very much. It's 1:34 in the afternoon. We want to switch the conversation, and of course, you can continue to call on any particular issue that you want to talk as it relates to the environment. We have a lot
And
more
tourism.
yes, and tourism as well. Um, some I want to go back to the issue of tourism, and you said we have not reached the numbers that we have to. But what is it that we may be doing wrong? As I said, I asked you the question before, but I think we strayed away from that. What is it that we may be doing wrong, and the other countries are maybe doing right?
Well, I just got a text here from Kelvin Ely. Kelvin Ely used to be in forestry.
I know him very well.
Yeah,
He's
and
he's the head of.
he's a big shot at conservation
Know him
international.
very well,
Apparently, he's
yes,
using
sir.
a program. He says we need to invest in the basics of promoting a circular economy approach. And Kelvin, you're absolutely right. And Kelvin is one of those Dominicans abroad that is doing well. Representing us so well,
Yes.
and he's trying to promote Dominica in what he does. He has to represent, the entire planet with Conservation International. But I would tell you, as a Dominican in that key position, he's trying to direct as much resources to us. And
As a matter of
Kevin,
fact,
we appreciate you.
as
Huh?
a matter of fact, he says a very good program.
Thanks.
Is this through IFO? Or?
He is with Conservation International.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
So going back to your question, Matt.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if we want to see measure Dominica with the rest of the Caribbean, and I'll tell you why. We're all in tourism, but we're in a different niche of tourism than the
Okay.
Caribbean. The Caribbean promotes sun, sand, and sea tourism, and that's what they've traditionally promoted. The white sand beaches people come to, they lay out there, they get sunburn. I tease my
Right.
guests, they come, they get skin cancer. But that's what they do, and they come when it gets cold in North America, and it gets cold in Europe, and that's their basic brand. And the Caribbean has been known for that, and it's done well in that field. Dominica, we don't have the type of beaches those other islands have. It rains too much on this island. We are more like a South Pacific island. We are formed by volcanic activity. We have 9 active volcanoes in Dominica. A lot of
Mm-hmm.
our audience may not be aware of that. More active volcanoes than the entire rest of the Caribbean combined. The other islands were formed by coral formation for the most part. Some have volcanic and coral, but mostly coral
Mm-hmm.
formation. And so they have that white sand beach. We have a little to the north. So we don't have what the others have. So we also didn't have a large area to put a nice landing strip like you have in Antigua, Barbados, all those other islands.
Mm-hmm.
For us, you'd have to cut down mountains, very expensive to get a good airport. And so Dominica traditionally was not seen as something that's good for tourism. Certainly the Caribbean brand of tourism. So not too long ago, there was an attempt to diversify to ecotourism, which is tourism that promotes the environment, about wellness, about adventure. And I think we found our niche, and with the Nature Island,
Mm-hmm.
brand, that's exactly where we've identified ourselves, and that's our niche. And there's tremendous growth potential in this area. I just think that sometimes we still aren't 100% on board, and maybe we are still trying to be too much like the other Caribbean islands. I think Dominica has a unique opportunity that the other islands don't have, which is to promote its brand of tourism, nature, its hiking, its water sports, its whale watching. This is what we have to offer. And so, I think if we focus on that and we do our homework, we do our planning well, we would see greater growth than the other Caribbean islands.
All right, somebody
Actually.
says, great program with Sam. Can you ask Sam, does he think we need another year of environment in 2025? Designate 2025 as the year of the environment and shelter. The whole of the island approach to clean up the island and promote um, circularity. Yes.
Well, I wish I was the one that could make that declaration. I would make it right now, my friend. Absolutely, absolutely. Not just a year. We really need to go back to basics, to the schools, to all of us need to reflect on this and to begin to
Keep the
appreciate,
island
keep
clean.
the island clean. We really need a campaign, and it's a new year. Hey, that's a great idea. Maybe it's something that we can all jump on board and buy into.
All right, let's take another phone call. Are you there, caller? Yes? Caller.
Good afternoon to
Good,
you.
good afternoon to you, yes.
Good afternoon to Mr. Sam Raphael and your listeners at home and abroad.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, fantastic program, and I've always look at Sam as one who, has his mind focused on what is right and what should be done in the tourism business and overall. But I need to say though that, in fact, many years ago when Barbados went into tourism, they involved the entire country. So everybody who had a little stall by the road selling something had to be part of the education, part of the awareness to keep your surroundings clean. And then it spread throughout Barbados because they recognize that the tourism business is something that would benefit every region. In our case, we do not have the white sand, as he said, but we have the nature, we have the wellness. I remember when I was in government, there was a gentleman who his wife was not well, and he came here for wellness and so on. In fact, he had made contact with me, and then we had sent him somewhere and say, well, he heard of Dominica as a clean place, a nature place, good environment, good breeze, and so on. So he came in, the wife, and he get very well. In fact, he sponsored a project because of that. He sponsored through local government and so forth. So we can do things together. Another thing, though, we are accustomed as a people with government that engage sectors and engage them with an open mind. That if you engage the hotel and tourism people, then you have an open mind. You don't go there and expect that they must say what you want to hear. They must say what is the reality, so the action can be taken to remedy these things. I mean, we have seen in many years that we have become a country where politics has dominated the whole governance of the country, partisan politics. In fact, I have known for a fact where at one time a minister of tourism was visiting after Hurricane Maria, and he selected certain hotels to go into, and the others he just bypassed them, passed them straight like an exam. And you can't run a country like that. People may not support you, but they have a business creating employment. You have to engage them, and where they need support, and you can provide the support, you have to do it. It's not a thing as if, well, I love you, you support me, you campaign for me, so you must get favor, and you who don't support me, you must crash. Because I know businesses that created jobs and got crashed as a result of partisan politics and so forth. So these are things we have to correct in 2025. And I agree with the person who suggests that government should declare a year of environment and shelter like we did in the 80s, so people can recognize nationally that we have to combine efforts to clean the country, to keep our garbage away from throwing away, and so forth. I think we need to have a police arrangement patrolling the road. That's their task, what you call highway police and so forth. So when a person on a bus and they throw garbage, they can take and throw it out of the bus must pay for it. So when we get serious on those things, our country will change. But we look like a country that do things like if we're not organized. Somebody put a little shack somewhere, they put a little ugly looking thing. We don't take them and do it nice and so forth. So in 2025, we need to be open, we need to be frank, we need to be business-minded, country-oriented, and do that to grow as a people. And the business people like Sam and others, I remember the business sector was highly motivated and speak their mind with government in the past. We all of a sudden, I don't even know there's a private sector. I don't know where they are, if they still exist. So I want to wish Sam very well in the new year and his business. I think he has an excellent business there in the Soufriere area, and I think it is worthwhile promoting, and others must take a pitch from that. Thank you so much, Matt, and thank you, sir.
All right, thank you, sir. Thank you.
Basso, good points there, and you are absolutely correct. I think again, the new year is a new opportunity to start this candid conversation with everyone at the table. And certainly not talking down to, but learning, because we all have
Talking
something
with.
to share, talking with.
Yeah.
And excuse me. And certainly, in terms of in terms of, you say, going to and getting everyone involved, I think Dominica has a unique opportunity, more so than the other islands in with their tourism product, to make it everybody's business, because we don't have a situation where you have large hardware stores where everything is shipped down. I think we should encourage, from the time someone starts constructing the hotel, we have as much local input as possible. And one of the things that we did is well known at Jungle Bay is we employ locally, and we brought in very few people. We brought some
Guyanese?
skilled carpenters from Guyana, but they apprenticed the local Dominicans. When we brought a few skilled stone people from Haiti to apprentice the local Dominicans, but it's all built by local people, because you provide a livelihood for the people, but you also use your construction as a means of people developing skills that they can use in the future. And the same way, when you operate using, you're employing as many local people as you can, which most people do in Dominica, but also sourcing your things from the local community and local people. And sometimes it's not so easy. I can tell you, we sometimes have some challenges, because the farmers and some producers do things seasonally, and when you need tomatoes you can't, when you need peppers you can't get, because this one, so it becomes very difficult. But I think the more we grow, our industry and our economy, the easier it is to get. And right now, I can tell you, we can get virtually everything other than some basic commodities we get from the local Dominican community. So I think certainly in our tourism product in Dominica, more so than the rest of the Caribbean islands, it is a people's product, and the people should be involved and linked with it at all levels, including the tour guides. And there are so many opportunities for local people to benefit across the board in tourism. It shouldn't just be something that people perceive, that just the operators or the owners of the hotel. Everyone should feel that they're getting a little bite of it, and everyone should feel that they're part of it. And certainly, you're speaking about the environment from both the tourism standpoint and how we live as a people. That's something that we all need to get on board. So, Basso, I totally agree with you with respect to what you're suggesting, and I do believe that we talk about a refresh sometime and a restart. Maybe it's a good opportunity for us to really refresh and restart and have candid, honest conversations without any kind of the insults and all of those
the
things,
partisan kind of
the
politics.
partisan kind of thing, and let's just look, and wherever the chips fall. Listen, we have election at least every 5 years. Before the election, you decide what side and you fight up yourself and whatever it is. That's all good. Differentiate yourself, but after that, let's come together and let's try to see how we can all make a contribution to development, regardless the side that the people decide.
Somebody's saying, here's a solution to get environment clean and stop trash. Enforcement of lethal laws, make penalty jail time or a month of clean roads, drains, and elsewhere. That will replace the NEP, and the money saved can be used to promote DA as a tourism destination. That's one suggestion there.
Yeah, that's a good suggestion too. But I think there needs to be the enforcement side, Matt. We got to be serious about that, and the enforcement has to be, they see, regardless of friend or favor. When somebody litter, they have to pay the fine, regardless who it is, and everybody needs
So
to
there
get
should be
on
no
board.
selectiveness.
There should be no selectiveness with this. I also do work in Bermuda, and it's a very clean place. You don't see a trash anywhere. If the premier litters, he's going to get a fine and a ticket. That's the way it is. It's a rules-based society. So we need to get back to the fundamentals of rules that apply. So when someone sees Sam Raphael littering and they call, I get in trouble. The police don't say, well, it's Sam, they're giving him a chance, they give him a break. Everybody's got to be treated the same way under the law. And I think we need to really push for that. And I think the more of that kind of enforcement and treatment of our laws, I think the much more advanced that will
So
be.
enforcement is very necessary, yes.
Enforcement is and universal enforcement. No exception.
Hello, talk to me on the telephone, yes?
Mr. Penalty, blessings to you. What's up, bro?
Blessings to you, blessings.
Mr. Penalty.
I said blessings to you, blessings. I said that. Yes, I said that already.
Merry Christmas and Happy New Year's, Mr. Blessings. I'm here also, huh?
he was saying Sam. Yes, Sam. Blessings. Okay.
Matt, is it no holds bad? I can ask some, maybe just two questions.
As it relates to the environment, we can switch subjects later down, but let's talk about the environment.
Oh, you're talking about the environment?
And keeping Dominica clean, yes.
No, but Matt, I mean, Sam, what's up?
How are you doing, my brother?
Man, Cole?
Yes. Yes.
All right. Just, Matt, that pertains to the environment. Matt, how many rubbish trucks Dominica have? And we're going to blame the citizens of Dominica for littering. The whole collection program, how efficient or sufficient it is for people to have a bit of pride to know that that's the collection point and all of that. Some were having garbage over the place for the whole week, no trucks to pick up garbage. Then they have to have a kind of makeshift dumper to come and pick up garbage and all of that. And some you're talking about, I mean, what we can do. We have sea and sun and hiking. The trails are in a dilapidated state. Our sidewalks are not welcoming tourists. Our vagrants, the way they're up in their faces. Some you mean to tell me these people don't know what is going on. I know there are certain things, you can't talk about. But these people are not ready, Slam. I know you cannot say that. These people are there, feathering the nest, and they don't give a damn about the country. No wonder. I heard Matt talking about the road to go to Jungle Bay is in such a dangerous state. Quite precarious. Something might fall, not properly hooked or something, a stone and cliff hanging and all of that. And these people that have gotten millions or billions of dollars from selling our passports, they can't do better than that to accommodate the foreigners to know that they're safe in our country. We lose one, we lose two, tourists dying in our country. Anyway, I don't want to exaggerate, but the fact is, what is wrong? Why this administration cannot have at least 3 or 4 well-oiled garbage trucks, and why they can't fix the roads and the sidewalks in Roseau to accommodate your visitors, Sam? I know you're directly involved. I hope you don't disrespect me. I hear, scary disrespecting everybody. I know when you talk about disrespect, it's for people like me. Thank you.
All right.
Blessings. Today is the end of the year. I agree with everything that you've said in terms of the need for there to be, but that's what I opened with. I think we need to really get back to. I'm not even going to say they need to add one truck. We need to look at the entire system in Dominica with respect to garbage and trash. Technology has changed rapidly. There may be more cost-effective ways that we can dispose of garbage. Maybe we can end up reusing and recycling more. All of those things we need to take into account when we have this conversation. I'm not suggesting that we defer from collection and wait until we sort all of this out, but I think we need to really go bigger than just picking up the garbage, so that we now have Dominica would have one of the most progressive garbage collection and management system in the Caribbean.
But to get the Blessings point, you're saying that we definitely need some more trucks. We can't be operating.
We need more resources, no two ways about it. And again, like I say, resources are limited, but sometimes we need to prioritize the resources that we have. We need to look at our priorities. And I think that's what he's saying. And Blessings, today, I don't disagree with you. I think this is something that is, I would say, is number one in terms of an issue. And if it takes 2-3 trucks, let's figure a way how we can do it. But I don't think it's just the trucks. Yes, let's add the trucks. Let's get back to some other things. And then Blessings, also public education. I know you're very articulate and you're one of Matt's favorite callers, so when Blessings, at least give us a Friday and talk about the environment when you call. And let us all stay on top of that, because one problem that we have today, we jump on this issue, tomorrow we jump on another issue and we completely forget the environment. So we're going into the end of the year and started of a new year. Let's make, like someone suggested, 2025 the year of environment for Dominica, and let's stay focused on that. And everything else, sure, we can talk about that, but let us stay focused and let us do something to kind of turn this island around with respect to the problems we have with sanitation and the environment.
We hear a lot of the conversation as it relates to, of course, the cruise ship tourists that visit Dominica, should we pay more attention to overnight, or should we pay attention more to the cruise ship coming in?
I don't think we need to choose one over the other. Certainly, the overnighters bring us more revenue. There's much more spend.
Mhm.
So certainly, naturally, we should be focusing on them. But the cruise ship is also important, and a lot of people, you walk down the bayfront and the tours and so on. A lot of people depend on the cruise ship travelers, and a lot of the cruise ship travelers also do tours and very interesting tours for them. And I think we should go more into the cruise ship activities, land-based activities. I remember Miss Knight, my good friend Alex Boyd Knight, used to cook traditional dishes for and show them how we. There are a lot of activities that we can do
Mhm.
to get the cruise ship people to spend more. We shouldn't just sit and say, well, they don't spend. Let us get in there and do more and link that to the island, so maybe some of them will come back. So I don't think this debate between cruise ship and stayover, even though I'm in the stayover sector and I want to focus there, I don't think that's the healthiest approach.
So we need to give them a lot more options when
we
they
need
come
to,
in.
we need to give them a lot more interesting things to do, and let Dominica be known as a must-stop island, because there's this, that, the other, and it's all done well.
What's your thoughts on casinos?
I don't.
You said give them something to talk about. Give
I
them
don't
something
think
to
people
do.
coming here for casinos, Matt.
You don't
That's
think
my
so?
no. And I think there are things. If our theme is nature and wellness and adventure, I think let us stay on that. There's a lot we could do on that, and we don't need to be going in the casino. That's my approach, folks. There are people out there, I'm sure, that don't agree with me, and that's okay. Today we agree to disagree, but I don't think that the focus should be on the casinos.
All right, because I heard a lot of taxi drivers saying, "Well, there's nothing to do on these ships. They sit there on the bayfront, and
The people are not coming here to go in casinos.
they're not coming. They have
They're
nothing
not
to
coming
do.
to the nature island. Well, let's find other things for them to do other than casinos on the nature island.
All right, I guess that's your opinion.
That's my opinion.
I know a lot of people disagree, but that's your opinion. Hello, talk to me. We have to respect that. Hi.
Yes, Matt. Good afternoon again.
Yes.
Matt, from what I'm hearing, it sounds to me that we would have to change all our politicians. And that's where we get into that whole thing of delayed electoral reform, and that whole topic is going to raise its whole head. Because apparently, the voters of Dominica do not have any power. Sam keeps saying, we should do this and we should do that. I, as an individual, the most I am doing is making sure that the garbage around my house, because there are several other people collecting garbage outside my house, I try to keep it clean in that area. I cut the grass. I rake it every time the garbage truck comes, and I make it tidy. What more can I do? I have no power, and we have no unity among our community. We would have to start a community. We'd have to have discussions about, to the point where we say, listen, don't run for politics if you cannot deliver what this community wants. If the community of Dominica wants a nature island, and it's not in line with you, don't run for politics. That's how far it has to go. And that's how far away from it, achieving that goal, we are. Enough said.
All right, somebody's saying there, Matt, what is Sam talking about? The government has never come forward publicly stating that they have cash issues. Secondly, Dominica is overpriced in terms of lodging and amenities. Within the past year, I've been to Turkey, Brazil, Bali, and Vietnam, all under $1,500 for over a week stay, including the flight. Matt, since we like using the U.S. as an example, there's no way my government would tell me to pick up trash in my area because I pay taxes. How do you respond to that?
Okay, so the previous caller spoke on the sense of powerlessness
Yes.
and the lack of unity, and he's correct in the lack of unity. But I think sometimes we unite around the wrong things, and I say that to say, if there is unity around the preservation of the environment and about how we manage trash, you bet the politicians are going to listen on all sides. I don't think there's unity around issues, and that's my take on this. Yeah, and again, it's my opinion on that, my dear friend. But I think, like you, myself, Matt, the guy down the street, if we are all clear and in unison about an issue, and if it's the environment, and we're not letting anything, separate us, certainly we'll get some attention there. So this is what I think in terms of the sense of powerlessness. The powerlessness comes because we end up spending all our energy fighting each other and achieving nothing. So when I think we begin to coalesce around issues and focus on issues, whether it's small businesses or the environment, etc., as opposed to all the other things that we fight up with each other about every day, then I think we can get some things done. The gentleman is made some interesting points. I just came back from Bali a month ago, so and Singapore, and I travel quite a bit. And you're correct, prices vary different places, but I wouldn't say that Dominica's hotels are overpriced. I would say some people say some of our hotels are underpriced because some of our hotels are ranked in the top 25 or top 10 in the entire Caribbean. And when you look at the prices our hotels charge that are comparable hotels, it's much less. Call, I think there's a matter issue of value. And when you look at pricing, you just can't look at the price of something. You look at what the people are getting. And if there wasn't value, they wouldn't be coming. Yeah. And so some of our hotels that's doing well, Jungle Bay, some people may say, well, that's expensive. Another person would say, well, that's inexpensive because they understand the value. So you have to look at not just the price, but the value proposition. And again, for those persons getting in the industry, you can't just hear someone say that they got $200 a night, so you will charge $200 a night. The value of your guest house might be $75 a night, or $90 a night, or $125 a night. So people need to understand and appreciate the concept, not just the price. The price must be set at the value or maybe a little below, so that the user can feel that they're getting value for money. And this goes with tourism or any other business activity that you get into.
Sam, let's talk a little bit there because a lot of people complain that it's just too expensive to fly into Dominica.
Mm-hmm.
How do we change that? Do we?
You get more people flying in. It's a numbers game, and so
it makes it less. A lot more people are coming in.
Yeah, you need critical mass. In economics, you have for instance, if it costs you $10,000 to fly an airplane from Miami to Dominica, and if you only have 50% flying, and if you charge sufficient and you assume that you will make your money, you'll break even at 70%, you're going to be losing money. If you have 100% of the plane full, then you will be making money. And if you have bigger planes flying to Dominica, the bigger the plane, the less expensive it is, because you've got one pilot and a co-pilot, and you're now flying 300 people instead of 70 people flying in. When you get more numbers and more consistent flights, the price goes down automatically. Just like anything else you're doing, you get the economies of scale, the benefits of that, and you're going to get prices down. So yes, prices are very high because it's a destination without many flight options, and it's very expensive to operate an airline into Dominica. When we have more planes flying that are full, then the prices can go down, and there may be even competition among the airlines. I used to be in the aviation business. It's they say, how do you become a millionaire in the aviation business? You have to start as a billionaire and then operate for a few years, and you go down to become a millionaire, because it's the fastest way to. It's expensive and to lose money, and so airlines are not going to operate at a loss, and they're not going to operate in an environment where their load factors, whether it's cargo or passengers, are too low. And so we must end up having good numbers. We're getting a new United flight. I think the airplane seats 120 people. It's one flight a week. We need to make sure that flight is full, and folks
coming in and going out
in and going out. Now we have the American flights from Miami. It's not every day. They now up 2 flights on a Saturday. We need to make sure that flight is full. So we can't say the people that were going to go on the American flight can now fly from New Jersey, and American will now have less passengers. How long are they going to stay flying to Dominica, losing money? So we need to be, as we get more flights, it's great if you can get more operators, but we need to also ensure that we have good product for visitors to use every flight, so that we ensure that the airlines are operating at least maybe 70% load factor, so we know that they can continue to operate. Because if they end up operating with less passengers, they're going to have to discontinue. And
does government have to compensate for the empty seats? I've heard that discussion.
Some airlines require that, usually do. Dominica is fortunate because American didn't do that. And so this is highly unusual. Americans said it's called minimum revenue guarantee, an MRG, right? And so the airline would say, just as an example, if I have 70% load factor, 70% of my seats, I can operate at that. You don't give me any subsidy. But if you want me to fly to your destination and I have less than 70% on my flight, you have to pay the seats up to 70%. And that's where the guarantee comes in. So now, if you can get, even if you have the commitment and the minimum guarantee, you may not end up paying if you have good loads. But while the airline build a route and you have more and more people coming, the government is expected to, and I think the United flight has a minimum revenue guarantee, and I applaud the government for taking the leap, and that's a good thing. And this is what we need to do, and this is how we need to spend our money promoting the island by things, initiatives like that. And but we now need to ensure that we get, and the operators in Dominica, that we get the traffic so that the government doesn't have to take our taxpayers' dollars to subsidize the airline.
On the telephone, hello, good afternoon. Oh, sorry about that. Let's try another call, 449-3095-96 and 97. Talk to me, yes.
Hey, Mr. Belte.
Yes, you're back.
Yeah, just quickly.
Yes.
My beloved brother Sam, once we were nice, white and the red, blue, and green, it was a little divided. Just a few things. Sam, you have to meet the people halfway, not you, Sam, but the powers that be. You know, what they call government, or what passes for government in Dominica. You cannot be selling our patrimony, our passports for one, and build apartments and tell the people the apartments is not theirs, it's government owned, and you want them to be that patriotic and that nationalistic, you know, take care of your country and clean your country and take the next thing. That is just one thing. The next thing, how can we have foreigners leaving where they come to Dominica and just go hike in our forest without a tour guide? You remember Matt? You remember Dominic, whatever she was there from Guadalupe, Matnik?
Yes, I something like that happened yesterday. I think Blessings. Some of these people, they choose to go alone. I asked him yesterday. I said, "Are you going to the Boiling Lake alone?" He said he has done it before and he will do it by himself. So some people choose to go alone without a tour guide. So you might want to argue that let's make it mandatory that they go with a tour guide. But some people choose to go alone.
No, Matt, that is my country. You're a visitor. I am hosting you. I am telling you the rules and regulations. It's not an imposition of being dictatorial, but that has to be enforced for your own safety and for my reputation as a country. And some years ago on DBS and on Kyrie, I said it. Decentralize Labas. At least 2 orders. You can't take garbage from point A to point Roseau, I don't say in B. You're taking garbage all over Dominica to bring in a tongue. Labas already catch fire and cruise ship leave and go, you know. Burning tires and all kind of garbage, the nasty smoke and all of that. Why these people cannot be visionary and obedient and a bit humanitarianistic? It's because they're too preoccupied in stealing and victimizing and being the, dictating to the people of Dominica how they should behave, what they do and what they don't do. If you want people to obey you, boss, be obedient yourself. You can't come on radio 10 people they're afraid in their ass to pull bullshit and all can. Everybody's in lawless. You committing all your crimes and you get in there when you want people to be law abiding. Thank you.
Yes. Blessing, yeah, I gathered 2 main points from what you were saying. The first is meeting halfway, and I fully agree with you. And I always, that's something I think I believe it, but different people have different ways of doing things, and so it is what it is, yeah. And I'll just leave it at that. I think all politicians should be encouraged to communicate with everyone because you're trying to pull more people and you're really governing everyone. So I'm not going to argue that point with you. Your second point with respect, what was the second point again, man?
As it relates to what?
Blessing's point. He made a second point that I think was was valid.
The politicians and
No, that was the first point. The second point.
I don't
Besson,
think
it just slipped me. He made a second point that I thought warranted further discussion. So, yeah. Anyway, sorry about that, bro.
All right, let's take another phone call. 208, yes? Are you there, caller? And thanks, Mr. Raphael, for a very informative program. That's one of my biggest problems I have with the international airport being built. It's a different question completely, though. My question is, what's the capacity going to be? And is it going to be even more expensive to fly into Dominica because of the capacity? Yes?
That is an interesting question that would probably warrant an afternoon and change to discuss. My friend, I hear you. You're digging deep with that question. First, I want to go on record and say I support the development of the international airport. We need it, but because we need to be able to attract flights and direct flights, people don't want to stop all over the place, like every other island in the Caribbean.
Mhm.
But at the same time, I will tell you that no island in the Caribbean have an airport that supports itself. None. Not even Barbados. Not even Antigua. And those are airports with lots of flights. An airport is very expensive to maintain, and you don't have sufficient flights to have the airport pay for itself because you pay landing fees, landing taxes,
Mhm.
and that comes from the number of flights. We have, uh, you know, maybe 50,000 people coming into Dominica through the airports. We have close to about 80, 90,000 people that come in ferry and airport. Yeah. And
We're talking yearly?
yearly. What tax are you going to charge them, and how much tax would you need to charge them to maintain an airport that costs millions and millions of dollars to maintain? And the only thing that can bring the cost of the airport to where it can be close to where it can be managed by the flights is to increase the number of flights. So, my friend, again, you made that's a very good, valid, serious economic point, and that's something that we have to see how we can bring up the numbers so that by the time we get that international airport ready, that we can be at least closer to a break-even point, which I think is a long ways away. For instance, the airport in St. Vincent and Grenada, that has been Argyle has been
Mhm.
operating for about a decade. And the total number of travelers that come through there is a little over 100,000, about 120,000 people. And they are nowhere, not even 50% of the revenue that they need to operate the airport they can get from the flight. So there's always a deficit in the Caribbean. Airports in particular have a deficit in operating expenses from flights, and the only way they bring that down is to increase the
So
number
why,
of flights.
if we're facing that difficulties now, why are we so persistent or insistent that we get this international airport?
This is the debate that's been happening, Matt. And again, we need to have the ability. It's one of those things. If you're going to be in the game, you got to pay the price, and the price is getting the people here, and it's not going to be cheap. That's just the bottom line. And if we're going to say we are in tourism, let us find ways to reduce the price of operating the airport. One, by getting more people in, and second, by more use of the airport. We can produce, sell fresh produce, whether it's cargo or passengers, and they use the port, and they're gonna, provide revenue for the airport and so on. So there are things we can do. I wouldn't say it's a time to lament. It's an opportunity cost, and building and maintaining the airport is expensive, yes, but I think that we need it. And so, how do we then reduce the liability from building and operating the airport? And that's where the focus should be.
What's the timeline on this international airport?
Well, you tell me. I'm not the official that I've heard is 2027.
Uh-huh.
I hope it falls within that. I'm not going to predict anything, but if it happens, these things take time, and there's opportunistic timelines.
Mm-hmm.
Everywhere, not Dominica, folks. Everywhere that an airport is planned, the timeline that's given is a bit more. How do you put it? More optimistic than it ends up being.
It's somewhat
And
unrealistic then.
I'm not saying it's unrealistic. I'm saying that it's very optimistic. I would be happy personally, and I would commend the government greatly if that airport
becomes a reality.
is in operation
2027?
in 2030. Yeah. So 6 years from now, if we're operating ready to operate flights, I think that the government should be commended for that because it's a difficult, challenging thing. It's not just building the airport. You have a lot of regulatory issues and approvals you have to go through and hoops and hurdles that the government is going to have to go through. And then you have contingencies. What if we get another storm, whatever? So I'd like to be, maybe a little on the cautious side and say,
You're cautiously optimistic.
I'm very optimistic about it being completed and used.
Okay.
In terms of the timeline, I'm a little cautious about that. And then the cost, it always seemed to go up because, as you know, maybe they plan to, it's a lot of earth to move. Maybe they plan to pay the truckers at $45 and having to pay them $75. That money has to come from somewhere. So the cost is going to escalate, but I'm looking forward to it opening whatever time and to us building up the flights at Douglas Child so that when it opens that we can now have United and American, maybe JetBlue already flying in, and then that can reduce the operating cost of the airport and also the number of flights and the payloads on the flights can mean that we can have not cheap seats. We'll never get cheap seats, but at least affordable seats so that Dominicans traveling in can have good flights, but more so for me, so that the tourists can get competitive flights, so we can find an easier way to get them here at an affordable price.
On the telephone, pretty interesting conversation. Are you there, caller?
If I had disrespect you or someone, you'd remember I was talking about decentralizing Labas.
So let's take that point, decentralizing the Labas. Go ahead, yes.
No blessings. You also made another point. So you talk about.
Are you still there? Blessings. It's gone.
Yeah. So blessings, yes. I think that's something. Again, I touched on it before you earlier in the program. It's something part of the whole management of waste, and we need to go back to seeing how it can be done. I think we can go to a lot of composting. You have mini recycling plants. We have all the glass that we have. Glass is often crushed and used when you're building roads and so on, so that you can strengthen the asphalt. So we really need to take our trash, and they say one person's trash is another person's treasure. And the Nature Island, I think, need to show the world that we know how to do it, how convert trash to treasure. And this is something with technology we can do, but we need to focus on that. Yeah?
Here's an interesting question coming to you from an engineer. He says, ask Sam his opinion. Given the huge unforeseen cost associated with the international airport under construction, would you consider it advisable that the runway length be reduced to not more than 8,000 feet instead of 10,000? Question to you.
I think that needs to be addressed in its totality. I would not be opposed initially if you phase it in and if you said you had to do 8,000 because that's what you can afford now.
Okay.
And then you can extend it because you don't have enough money. But I'm not in the room where the decision is made, where the money is counted and so on. But to that engineer, that's a good point. I know many airports, they're built in a phased approach. And that's something from any business you're going into. Certainly, if you're going into a hotel business, instead of building the whole thing out, I would suggest you use a phased approach. And so, if you can, do the airport, I think 8,000 feet for the payloads that we will probably get on the types of airplanes, I think that would probably be sufficient in the interim. And if they need to phase it in, if the construction cost is a factor that may inhibit its completion in a timely manner, that's certainly something that I would encourage continuing. But I'm sure the powers that be have looked into that, and I trust they have.
Blessing's second point was also about tourists hiking alone.
Yes, that was the point. Thank you. Yes.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Blessing, do you even forget your second point? That's a very good point. And so two ways to look at that. So we promote the Nature Island. It's like you're coming in the Garden of Eden and it's just you and nature. People want to do self-guided tours, and some people want to know there's a trail and you can go on that trail, and they want to feel safe on that trail. And that's what we're projecting, even though we have to make sure that they're safe because we can't allow incidents to make them feel unsafe. So there is that debate. In terms of the boiling lake, it is not the law, but I think that maybe a conversation should be had, and this is something from jungle based perspective that we've raised internally, that, and not because we want to control any business, but we're concerned about the reputational damage that can come from people getting injured going to the boiling lake. That is a special hike that people should be knowledgeable to go to the boiling lake. So if I would not be opposed to discussion, pick a few trails, the boiling lake being one, for safety reasons, that people should be required to go with a trained, certified local guide that know first aid and so on and so forth with good communication equipment, because we don't want to have the reputational problem with someone getting injured or dying going to the boiling lake on their own, and then the whole island and our tourism sector would be adversely affected
You've
by
been?
that. Huh?
You've been?
Oh, plenty times, man.
Oh, wow. I haven't been.
Really?
I've heard too many stories about that hike there.
No, it's a fantastic. It's a world class. It's one of those every week. We do at least 2 days. We do tours to the boiling lake. People come from all over, and we caution them. We put extremely difficult. And at the end of the hike, you always get people looking at you sideways, and they say, "Why didn't you tell us how difficult it was?" They say, "We've said it's extremely difficult. Give us another phrase that we can use." You know, Americans. You know, I'm a U.S. citizen too.
Yes.
Americans think that we can do everything. You know, and you we can do that, and then they really get up there and they do the hike. 2 days ago, I had a lady, they came in a little later than they normally do, because
Right.
one lady had a very difficult time, but then it's one of those things, when you do it you feel a tremendous sense of accomplishment, and that's one of our signature
So you
gems
did
in
like two
Dominica.
times a week.
We do it twice a week,
Hello,
yes.
on the telephone. Talk to me. Yes.
Good afternoon, Matt,
Good afternoon to you. Yes.
and good afternoon, Mr. Sam Raphael.
Good afternoon.
So I heard Mr. Raphael talking about increasing the number of passengers on the flights, but more people would come to Dominica if Dominica was actually a nature island. People, we need to clean up the city. We need to fix the sidewalks. We need to fix the potholes in every road in Dominica. All the road failure edges with the red and white drums that have been there for years. We have a lot to do before more passengers can come to Dominica, more visitors can come to Dominica. Look at Roseau's sidewalk. I fell in Roseau on the sidewalk. I broke my toe. I bruised my leg. Come on. The authorities, the government have to do what they were put there to do. The bare basics. Put the country in a position to attract visitors. And let's not keep settling for less. Let's just call it as it is. That's the only way we will move forward and be able to sustain an airport and get more visitors. We have to make it attractive to the visitors. If I wasn't from Dominica and I go online and see pictures of the sidewalk in Roseau, the potholes, what people have to say, I wouldn't come to Dominica. I'll go somewhere else. Let us just face up to facts and hold the people who are there responsible for what they're supposed to do, the bare basics to serve the people and make the country better.
All right, caller. Thank you, Sam.
Yeah, Matt. To the caller again, I have no issue with you holding people that hold themselves out to be elected to serve the people accountable. So period. That I'm not, and I've never been in the business of defending that. But I think we must be balanced in terms of the roads. Dominica is a very, very expensive place when it comes to roads because of our topography. It's so steep. We have volcanic soil, and you have a lot of erosion. We've had a lot of, I mean, for that matter, I would say our roads and our um, management and development of roads in Dominica, I would say that that's one of those things. Even though it's not, it's when we look at it, we have challenges with it. But relative to the other islands in in the Caribbean, I think we have relatively good roads. And I know I'm going to get in trouble with some callers for that, but it's true. I'm just saying that's flat out. So it's a very, with all the rainfall that we have and so on, we have to see have a little grace with that and a little time with respect to the roads. And I mean, I'm impatient sometimes too with the bumps and so on, but more can be done. I agree with that, but let us be mindful that the government have a balance sheet and they have limited resources. And even though we want everything, yes, and we deserve it, and we feel we should get it. We must be balanced in that and encourage them with respect to the roads, but we recognize that sometimes we have, like we had a few days ago, this rainfall in my area. No one could have predicted it, and the cost of the repair on the roads is going to be astronomical for that.
But
And
we've had that break in the road as it relates from Soufriere to Scott to Soufriere.
mhm.
That's 7 years ago, Sam. Don't you think somebody could have paid attention? We've had a lot of accidents in that area.
Yes. I don't know in terms of, and I'm not here defending the government. Trust me on that.
Right.
But I'm just saying I'm trying to be balanced about it, and I know that it costs a lot, and oftentimes you have to get external financing for some of these things. And so I think we need to be a little balanced with that. In terms of the unfortunate incident, I don't know how that happened, Matt, and I'm still
Well,
trying to figure out. I
can.
just feel so sad for the,
He missed that turn there.
yeah, for the family, of the person that lost their life, and I understand two other people are injured from that.
Yes.
I just like to express, some sympathy for that. It's just so sad, people
Well,
just going
let's
out.
try to encourage the government at this time to fix that. road.
I would encourage, and I agree 100%. And I'm running a business there, and I would really like to see, not just for my business, but for travelers' safety throughout that area, more attention. And it's been some time, and let's see, maybe let's work together. I know the government is now redoing the road going all the way up to Bagatelle,
Yes.
and that's pretty huge. And they've just done the one in Casa Bruce, so hopefully we'll be able to turn our attention to the Soufriere area.
Some cleaves there overhanging there.
Yeah,
We gotta
so
be careful.
that's my message to the PM from your program. Matt, I understand
He's
you-
he's an avid listener.
he's an avid listener. So
Yeah.
PM, yes, our Soufriere Road. Give us a little attention whenever you deal with CDB or wherever the funds, because looking at the cliffs, and it's a very expensive fix, because you have huge drops that are literally hundreds of feet. How do you, from an engineering standpoint, and we had an engineer that called, and how do you repair that, and at what cost? And so it's not something that the government can just repatch and do. So PM, I'm calling on you and all those in authority. Might say I have some influence. I don't know. I think we all have equal influence, but let's show a little love to the Soufriere people with our road situation.
All right, thank you. We're both from that constituency. So hello, talk to me on the telephone, yes?
Hello, Matt. Good afternoon.
Good
Good
aft-
afternoon, Sam.
Good
Good
afternoon.
afternoon.
You speak, you speak if an open man. I like to hear. But what I am saying, you said the roads. Look at your balance sheet and whatever those big roads. But a few days ago, I made a Christmas wish to Matt that the roads in Wallhouse will be fixed. But what I want to ask Mr. Sam, how could a road say for Wallhouse? I'm a senior citizen. Reach that stage. Now what I am, that's a problem I have. How could they allow a road like that reach in that stage, Papa Boche? Mr. Raphael Rose, I'm a senior citizen. If my foot go down in one of that, our bones are soft, it is break. All around the wall house is roads. So what I am saying, when you see those roads start to creep, at least do something before it comes like that. You don't agree, Mr. Raphael?
My lady, I agree with you 100%. But as I said, don't be vexed with me when I say the government have a balance sheet and they have a limited amount of things they can do. I want them to do my road. You want them to do your road. The next caller will want them, and so on and so forth. We need them to do all the roads, but we also have to, be mindful that the government doesn't have a printing press in the back of the financial center where they can just print money to do these things. And so let's be balanced and let's push them on this. I agree with you, madam. I agree with you on that.
I will tell you, Sam, that I think some of the priorities are mixed match, if you will.
Mhm.
Some things that they have to pay attention to, they don't, and they spend the monies elsewhere where they're not priorities.
You have a right to say that, and I'm not here to defend the government at all, and I'm not going to try to contradict that at all. So
All right, let's take a break. We'll come right back. We're talking to Sam Raphael.
Bloombox brings you our new branch right in the heart of Roseau to make things even easier for you to get all the best products we have in stock. Bloombox Roseau on the corner of Hanover Street and Drury Lane, next to Richard Wholesale, the same block as Western Union. Bloombox Roseau, a farmer's favorite place. New location, same great products for all your planting needs. We're open Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Saturdays, 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. Call us at 235-3483. Bloombox, your one-stop shop for everything that grows. Let's bloom together.
Auto Trade is introducing our very own mobile app. Yes, the Auto Trade app is here. From scheduling your service appointments, request financing, checking our vehicle and parts inventory, to receiving personalized coupons and sales specials. Life is so much easier with the new Auto Trade app. Download the Auto Trade app from the Play Store or App Store today. Call us at 255-6800. Auto Trade, it's more than a vehicle, it's a relationship.
Can I have this? We have an extra $400 from Flow. You can have everything you want. Mortgage with Flow. With Christmas in, when weekly prices up to $10,000. Sign up for a postpaid bundle or a broadband blanket. We Christmasing with free groceries from Flow. Plus, a chance to win weekly prizes and up to $10,000 cash. Head over to your nearest Flow store or visit discoverflow.co. Flow, we Christmasing. Mortgage with Flow.
Eaststar Trading Limited Christmas giveaway is on. Spend $75 or more, get a chance to win one of 4 fantastic prizes. First prize, a 4-burner gas stove. Second prize, a toaster oven. The third prize, a Ronix cordless screwdriver drill set. And the fourth prize, 10 shoppers will win vouchers valued at $100 each. Purchase items valued between $150 and $199 and get an immediate 5% off. Purchase items valued at $200 or more and get an immediate 10% discount. For purchases of $100 plus, get a large shopping bag free. For purchases of $75 plus, get a small shopping bag free. Loyalty card holders will receive double points when they shop between December 9th to December 16th. Eaststar Trading Limited, we are here for you. And the management and staff of Eaststar Trading Limited extends a happy 2025 to all customers.
All right, Dominica, we're back. It's 2:31 in the afternoon, 2:31 in the afternoon. I want to change the conversation a bit this time. I know you're a member of the board of Domlec. Is that true?
That is correct.
That is correct. You'll notice in the recent weeks we've been having some issues as it relates to Domlec and the outages, during Christmas time. And we heard from the PM that, Domlec should speak.
Yes.
As it relates to what the problems are.
But Domlec is a private company, yeah?
Well, you're on the board. Are you not the one who, of course, tell them what problems they have?
Yeah, no.
In terms of policy.
Going back to your point,
yeah,
the government is the major shareholder in Domlec, along with other shareholders.
Right.
So Domlec is a company. So if there's an issue, put Domlec on notice and have Domlec explain ourselves. So I agree with that first point you made, that Domlec should be speaking more. And I think more recently, last week on DBS, last week, our general manager, earlier this week, our general manager did have an engagement there, and where he kind of explained some things to the public about what's happening. So I can jump into, it's regrettable that we've had some of the outages that we've had. Some of it was purely due to environmental factors, things that damaged our hydroelectric lines, or you've had just like we have the roads, we have things that there's nothing we can plan for, and you're going to have outages. We have some older plant facilities, and we are in the middle of a transition at Domlec or in power in Dominica to geothermal, and we are holding on to our some of our near end of life units that maybe are difficult to maintain, and they may not be as consistent as we'd like them to be as we transition to geothermal. But I'm just here to ask the people to again give us a little more patience. There's a lot that's going on, and
But
a lot of
we
efforts that are being
but we have
made.
spent a lot of money, Sam, on geothermal, and nothing has become a reality. I mean, after all this money spent.
It hasn't been operating yet, but I wouldn't say nothing has become a reality because we've dug the wells. A lot of the money has been spent. The value is there. It hasn't produced any energy yet. But when you're making an investment, you need to spend the investment. I'm sure you'll agree, and you get the return. So in not too long from now, I think that is 2026, 2027, we'll realize, and I don't know how much is going to reduce the cost of electricity. I don't want to come here and predict, and people think that the power bill is going to drop, and more than it is. But at least we will definitely have more stable and consistent electricity once the geothermal plant isn't operating, and there's some more modernization things that we're working with. But at the same time, we're working on medium and long term solutions for them. Like, we have to work on the short term things, and we're all consumers, whether we're on the board or not. And it is
because he said last week at the news conference that don't look at me for solutions. Look at Dominic.
He's absolutely correct, and I'm speaking to you as a member of the board. We have I think, a pretty decent board. We have a good chair, and these things take time. When you have a ship going in a direction and you need to turn it around, it doesn't happen overnight. And we're working on solutions for Domlec. And as you see, I'm here. I'm proud to be on the board of Domlec. I'm not proud when your power doesn't go out, but I'm proud because I know that the work that we're doing behind the scene as a board, and the men and women at Domlec, and the tremendous Herculean effort that they're putting in to ensure that people have the best possible power. And so
You saying that they're doing enough? They're trying their best.
I think they're doing
or they can do more.
They're doing as well as they can. Of course, we are working to see how we can be more efficient and how we can do more. But I think, and I'm tough on grading, Matt. I don't have to defend everything, but I think overall, certainly the folks that work on at Domlec, the line people, the engineers, and so on, I don't think we can call on them to do more than they're doing. And even with us as a board, I think we're doing as much as we can, and we will continue to seek to do more. I think in the not too distant future, we expect to have maybe by March, April. And again, I don't want to predict anything. Hopefully, this coming summer, we shouldn't have these load shedding issues that we've had. That's what we're working towards. So we're working towards bringing people steady power. Certainly, the cost is something, but right now we're very interested in focusing on bringing people reliable power, and we're doing everything we possibly can to do that.
I know that these generators very
Yes,
old.
yes,
Are we
yes.
looking at replacing them at all?
We were looking at, that's what I'm saying. So we're moving, the cost, if we decide to replace all these generators and we're moving towards geothermal, it doesn't make any sense. So we're trying to do a balance. We're renting, we're doing all sorts of things as well as we can do now in being stewards of our ratepayers, to make sure that we bring as reliable electricity as we can. And I'm being as transparent as I can here, Matt, and saying that the people you've got a board of dedicated people, you've got management, dedicated people, and you've got a team of dedicated people doing the best that we can. And I think we will start to see the results of it, hopefully sometime this summer when we have less. I know, I would say certainly by the summer we should see some improvements in the consistency and the stability of electricity.
Hello, on the telephone, yes.
Yes, Matt, good afternoon again. Now, Matt, I'm an ordinary citizen. I'm not on a board, and you have a dedicated board, and I hope they can listen to some kind of advice from the citizen. You want to incorporate the citizen into everything, right? Like we said, this citizen citizen would like to suggest that if you're going geothermal, you still need the backup. So why not put in the adequate backup to run the whole country? Because you will still need that backup. And correct me if I'm wrong. If the geothermal has a hiccup, that diesel generators or that diesel backup has to kick in to run the country while you resolve the problem with the geothermal. Is that correct, Mr. Sam Raphael?
Yes, and I will say I didn't mean to suggest that there won't be backup or redundancy, as it's called. There will be redundancy. We have hydro electric power that we will continue to use. We have some, and we've gotten some of our newer units will continue to use that, and we will have the geothermal and the plants they come with. So without going into the minutia of it, there will be redundancy built in the system, and we don't have like, it's not like one unit and one unit breaks down and everything goes down. We have a decentralized system of generation, and so there will be sufficient redundancy that if something goes wrong in one area, that we can get the support from the other areas. So, caller, you're correct with that, but all of that is being built in. Again, I can't go into all the details because, one, I am not an electrical engineer. I'm just saying, based on my knowledge of being there and the conversations, I can assure you, though, that the redundancy is being factored in, and again, that certainly is part of why I see that we should expect more consistent power in the not too distant future.
On the telephone, yes, we're here with Sam Raphael, of course, Sarah's hotel manager, of course, and member of the board of Domlek. Hello, talk to me, yes?
Matt, good afternoon.
I'm here.
Hello.
Yes, go ahead.
You're doing well?
I'm trying my best, sir.
Well, first thing I want to say is I guess that's what Mr. Raphael. I do not know if it's because you are from the same constituency, but I would like to ask him, instead of going on the other side, he must ensure that he comes on the right side.
All right.
But here's my question.
Okay.
Here's my question to Sam. With the electrical thing with Domlek, and I'm hearing him, and I know he's on the board, and I'm sure that as transparent as he wants to be, he probably wouldn't, put blood on his own board. But Sam, don't you think that Domlek has made an error in putting all its expectant eggs in one geothermal basket for so many years, and in doing so have had its machines wear out that they should have a projection on in terms of its lifespan? And shouldn't they have considered other sustainable forms of electricity? I understand that whatever the name is in Barbados is now one of the major importers, for example, of solar units for private households. Even that, don't you think that somewhere in that projection, Domlek must have had a flaw in terms of its dependence and expectancy on geothermal that is not yet, and we are understanding is not very eminent either, and knowing that it has machines that have expired its lifetime? I mean, isn't that a management function? Isn't that a function of the board? And does something that's an error? I know something in a street businessman, and I probably think that he would probably think differently. Your answer, Sam?
I'll say this, yes. By the way, I didn't come here to discuss Domlek. Matt threw me in the Domlek thing, but it's fair. It's something that people are interested in, and I'm on the board, and I will speak to it as best that I can. When I was asked to serve on the Domlek board, the only thing I said, I will commit. I'm not serving on too many boards because I don't have time. I work in Dominica and externally. But I'll say this: I'll commit to the attention to Domlek and the contribution I make as if it was my own company. That's what I said. I'll do this as if it was my own company. And one of the things that I wanted to know is if Domlec was going to be a political organ, because if it was too politicized, I didn't want to be part of it, and I wanted it to run as a business. And I must say, when you asked me the question in terms of Prime Minister say go to Domlec, I agree with him on that, because that's one of the things that I insisted. I didn't want to have a situation with Domlec and then politicians say, well, let the people don't pay their bill and so on, and then we get into a royal mess. Yeah. So I'm not going to make excuses and say I wasn't there when those decisions were made. I'm relatively new on the board. But I will say that in terms of your suggestion with putting all the eggs in the geothermal basket, first and foremost, as I mentioned a moment ago, that's not happening. That we will rely on hydroelectric, on some diesel, and also on geothermal, and it has to do with not just production but the distribution also, and some of those things which I won't go into in too much detail. So a lot of effort and energy is put into planning this out, and I just want to give you the assurance, my friend, that a lot of those factors are considered. Now, with respect to the geothermal plant, Domlec didn't decide to develop the geothermal plant. That's the government of Dominica's decision. So it's DGDC, that's the government's development company that's developing the geothermal plant. Domlec is the power company that serves the public. So we now have a relationship with the power plant. So the geothermal plant is not a Domlec initiative, huh? But it will be supplying power to Domlec. So the decisions as to whether to do the geothermal plant and so on and so forth, I'm not passing the buck on it. I think it was the right decision. But just for your edification, it is not an internal Domlec's decision. So maybe at some point, Matt, then, I don't speak for the board. I'm just one board member. Maybe an invitation would be appropriate to have, a representative of Domlec come and kind of explain some of these things, because I'm merely serving as a business person representing the interests of businesses on the board of Domlec, and that's my role. But again, I will try to explain as much as I can. And I do believe in conversations, and I do think that you have a very broad audience. You call yourself the big station. I don't know. One, you call yourself the big station. I was on another station and they call themselves the great station. I don't know if big is better than great. I don't know. But you've got a fairly robust audience, and we need to speak to everyone. And I would encourage my colleagues on the board maybe to see how we can have not just a one-off but an ongoing conversation.
Yeah, we can bring the manager here. He can answer some questions.
Yeah, and he's very knowledgeable, and he is Mr. Senak. His wife is from Dominica. He's from Grenada, and he's doing, I would say, as good a job as he can. Yeah?
All right, I'll try to invite him here. Thank you very much. 246, are you there?
Good afternoon, Matt.
Good afternoon to you, sir.
I'm good afternoon, Mr. Sam Raphael.
Good afternoon.
Mr. Raphael, I need to talk about the Ronnie Castle Road. When have you drove over and the Ronnie Castle Road?
Maybe about 2 months ago, 3 months ago.
Okay, 2 months ago.
At least 2 months ago, maybe 3 months ago.
To the road. It's bumping, and the roads are thick, an inch and a half. That is a rip-off. Now you talk about they need some, I call rubbish container to carry there and there. As a passport peddler, can you help the government to give government some money to buy some rubbish containers?
So you're saying that maybe you should invest in some containers, or are you talking about the garbage truck? You're saying whether you invest in some garbage trucks or containers or whatever it is. That's
Matt,
to help with the rubbish.
So I will be as respectful as I can, because you call me a passport peddler. But it's the end of the year and it's Christmas time, so I'll be kind to you.
Okay.
Even though you're not reciprocal in that. And I as I said earlier, we support the conversation and seeing what we can do to have a comprehensive approach to garbage, including short term, which would be more trash removal, not just equipment but personnel. And to again, as Blessing suggested, and I agree, maybe even considering a more decentralized approach, looking at recycling and reusing and so on, a more robust approach. So I would agree with that.
All right, Dominica, it's 2:48. We don't have too much more time. I'd like to spend a lot more time with Sam. Maybe we'll go until 5 o'clock, but we have a short, long time. Hello, talk to me. I'm grateful that you gave us the time that I mean, you're a very, very busy guy, but you always, of course, welcome my invitations when I ask you to speak. On the telephone, hello, talk to me, yes?
Good afternoon, Mark.
Good afternoon to yourself.
Let me say a special good afternoon to Sam
Good afternoon, sir.
and greetings.
Greetings.
You know, Sam, I was up at your place at the resort
Jungle Bay.
when we had the economic summit.
Oh, okay.
And I must tell you, man, that we had a fantastic time. I thought your staff was very gracious. The place was very nice. I remember I had visited once before, and you were still kind of under construction. You didn't have the complete finished product. But I was very, very impressed, and some other folks who, we walked around the place and so on. We were very, very impressed. The amount of parking there is, and everything is so nice and neat, and you don't see no people around, and it's a fantastic place. I must say, it's just a pity you were not there that day. I asked for you, but they said that you were not there. But I was very, very proud, see the finished product, and it's fantastic, and I could recommend it to anybody because I had a lovely day, and I look forward to going and spend a day there sometime soon. Anyway, Sam, enjoy the season, and let me make way for more callers because you are out of time. Have a nice day.
Thanks for your kind compliment, sir. Yes, I did. I did do the welcome remarks, but I had to get on a plane the same morning the summit started, so I lamented that I wasn't able to attend. I understand that the content, the quality was very good, and again, hopefully, it's not going to be a one-off thing, and it's an ongoing conversation. So that was good. And again, your kind compliments on Jungle Bay. I rely on my staff, I rely on my team, and so I will pass the compliments on to them because they are the ones that got it to where we are, and they're the ones that are taking it to higher heights. So if I've done anything right, is I've surrounded myself with some talented people that are
So
dedicated.
it's a team.
It's a team, yes. And so on behalf of the team, thank you so much for your compliment.
On the telephone, hello, talk to me, yes?
Yes, good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you, yes.
Sam Raphael.
And sir.
And good afternoon, Matt Peltier.
Thank you, sir.
It's always a pleasure to really sit down here to listen to Mr. Raphael. But he made reference to our road condition. And I have a problem with that because all of our roads leading to the various sites are in a terrible position.
Okay.
If you drive from Pocasset going down towards the Emerald Pool, that particular road there is just a road that needs to just rip off and Baba-Green totally. So we are not ready yet for the major attraction. And that's why I wish that the minister was there, the minister of tourism was there, I wish the minister of works was there, and even the prime minister as well. Because we want to know what are we doing to attract those flights, attract those tourists from Europe, North America, the Caribbean. Our road are just in a deplorable condition. And after all, Matt tells you, I am paying taxes to drive on good road. Look at the West Coast road, bad condition. Look at the feeder roads. That I remember. Vehicles used to pass, tourists and so on used to pass from Mero to go all the way back down to Salisbury. That piece of road is in a bad condition. We need to fix up our road in order to have the major attraction that we are calling for. And Sam, I am happy at least to raise the point. So I guess the authorities listening can make the necessary adjustment to that.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, most of our roads, the scholars say, needs to be fixed.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, good.
But I just saw a comment
on the Facebook
on
page?
the Facebook.
As it relates to the roads in
as it
Dominica?
relates
Yes,
to-
if you saw the roads in the USVI, you'd say Dominica have good roads. Yes.
Yes, and so I'm again we shouldn't be in the business of making excuses for government. We have to hold their feet to the fire, but we have to be reasonable too in terms of the resources that are available and mindful that the government has a balance sheet. And when I see that they have to prioritize, yes, and so on and so forth. But I think we also get a lot of rainfall in Dominica and so on. So when it comes to the roads, people, I give them a little grace. I'm being honest with you. And this is not any partisan, anything whatsoever, because I know how expensive it is to maintain those roads. But still, I'm not making any excuses. We need to ensure that we have proper roads so people can travel. So we
All
can
right.
talk about that all day. I think the message is going out, and with respect to the roads.
All right, Fofana, I have actually invited the Prime Minister again to be here.
Excellent.
I'm hoping he accepts my invitation. I'll be having a conversation with him sometime next week, so we'll find out. Hello, talk to me on the telephone, yes?
Yes, good afternoon. I want to commend Mr. Sam Raphael, a successful businessman and entrepreneur, for his candid situation there. And of course, two things I would like to see happen in the first quarter of next year, if he can use his influence to get that done, is something on the Soufriere Road itself, which is kind of critical. I drove there the other day and the rocks start falling. I would like to see something done about that. And also the garbage collection. I want to suggest to the government $1 million US. You can get 10 rubbish trucks, 10 parishes, and if they can identify some areas to have this garbage dump in the various parishes, that would help the lifespan of the one in Roseau, in the city, and that would help to clear this sort of unsightly stuff that we see around Roseau over the last couple of days. Certainly, it's not it's not just criticizing, I'm just saying that constructively, that if we have to maintain Nature Island, we have to do something to ensure the country is kept clean. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yes.
Great points, caller, except one correction. Matt started this thing that I have some kind of influence. I like to dispel that notion. I think we all have influence, and as one of the callers suggested, if we unite around something, then we have influence. And if we can continue to unite around the environment and that garbage situation, I can assure you that we'll find solutions. And to the caller that first started this thing out by calling for next year to be, the year of the environment in Dominica, my friend, I just want to shake your hand.
That was since 1988.
Yeah, we need to do that. We absolutely need to do that. And based on the feedbacks that we're getting from certainly the road situation, that's a more expensive fix, and we're getting a lot of feedback on that. But in terms of the environment, callers, I'm with you 1,000%. And I think every Dominican, regardless their stripes, regardless, like someone say, the red, blue, yellow, pink, whatever, I think we should prioritize the environment and speak to it, and ensure that we're speaking with one voice and encouraging the authorities and doing our parts too. Whether we're driving on a bus and people are throwing something out of the window, you have a right to stop them. This is your environment. Or you're driving in a car, or however how we handle our litter, encourage recycling, reuse, composting, of the skin from our dasheen and our bananas and so on. Let's take a serious look at the environment, but let's not just look on government, not to make any excuses for them, but we generate the trash. Let us see how we can do our part, and then hold the government's feet to the fire also.
Okay, let's listen a quick listen there to just for a few minutes that message here from Dennis Charles as it relates to Carnival.
Carnival 2025 promises to be a celebration like no other, setting new benchmarks for creativity, inclusivity, and sustainability. As we embark on this journey together, let us remember that our traditions, our old mass, every costume, every beat of the drum, our calypso, every smile, and every post about our destination shared has the power to connect us to each other and to inspire the world. Picture the streets of Roseau, alive with music and colors, where every corner echoes with the heartbeat of Dominica. Lapo Capwit, Sensei, Pretty Mass, your music and the vibes. This is Math Dominic, a celebration that transforms every village into a cultural and creative masterpiece. It's a vivid reflection of our history, shaped by the rich influences of the Africans, Europeans, the French, and Kalinagos. Mas Dominic, the real Mas, brings celebration and opportunity. For 2024, our carnival season saw a 20% increase in visitor arrivals compared to 2023, injecting millions into our economy and creating opportunities for local entrepreneurs such as costume designers, artisans, and entertainers who showcase their talents to regional and international audiences. In 2025, we expect many more visitors from Guadeloupe, Martinique, St. Lucia, Barbados, St. Kitts, Antigua, the United States, United Kingdom, in fact, all over the world. We want visitors.
Just to make the point that there's a opening, if you will, of the carnival celebrations this afternoon there on the Bayfront in Roseau. We're talking carnival because we expect some more travelers or foreign tourists to come. I'm hearing a lot of conversations, Sam, as it relates to a lot of SeaWorld, a lot of fete in Dominica. Is this something that you subscribe to, Mr. Sam?
Well, I like to have a good time myself,
Uh-huh.
and so.
Well, are we focusing on the wrong things?
He might be trying to get me in trouble, but
I know your guy will speak your mind.
I am a man that am not afraid of trouble. I do believe that we spend a disproportionate amount of our resources on SeaWorld versus on promoting the destination for tourists and tourism. So I've opened a can of worms here.
No, we should spend.
But
you made the point earlier.
I'm telling you that I'm not against Carnival. I'm for the promotion of Carnival. I think World Creole Music Festival is good. I think we can even do more to expand it from the 3 nights of pulsating rhythm to maybe 6 weeks.
6 weeks,
of
maybe
all around the country.
Maybe a week.
No, but you can go to Granby and you can go to Kalinago territory in a weekend and so on, and you can make sure everybody makes some money on that and so on. But I think I would rather us spend more of our resources, of our destination promotional dollars, on our efforts on tourism, on making sure that our guest houses are ready for visitors and have the support they need, on making sure in that the island and the niche that we're in get the recognition, and that costs money. We're fortunate to get a lot of free publicity from writers that write in magazines, and we got award-winning hotels like Secret Bay, Jungle Bay, and some of the others, and so on. And that's free publicity. But we need to do more to invest in going into the places, into with the tour operators, and going into the publications, etc. Going online marketing. We need to do more to promote the destination. We're not doing enough to promote the destination for tourists that stay overnight and that will spend money in Dominica, and we spend, I think, more of that on the festivals and fests. I've said this privately, I've said it publicly, and that's the position I take. So your question, the answer is, I think we need to do more with respect to promoting tourism. But it's not that I don't think we should not recognize the importance of Carnival as part of our culture, and we should continue to support it. But in terms of the dollar spend on those things, I think I'd like to see more attention paid to where the real potential for growth is, and that is in the niche of tourism that we're in.
I can tell you the telephones never stop ringing again, but we're going to take one final phone call. I'm going to wrap it up with Sam here in the afternoon on the Talk on the Block. Again, good afternoon to you. Yes, talk to me.
Good afternoon, Mark. I've been trying my best for the longest while and getting through.
Well, talk quickly now.
Because Mr. Summerfeld, good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, sir.
Mr. Summerfeld, you might not know me, but the voice, I believe the voice is ringing a bell in your ears now, because when you were on the other side, I call your program a lot.
You used to give me a lot of blows on the other side. I remember that.
I called to say this, Mr. Summerfeld.
I am thinking right now, where I'm in Tortola, is that maybe you're getting fed up like many of us, because some of the things you said today, I really appreciate it. But when it comes to the Sufia, I'm from Scotland. When it comes to the Sufia Road, Mr. San Rafael, and this road have been damaged since Hurricane Maria. And you are saying to us that in a very diplomatic way that the government have a lot of things really expensive and whatnot. But Mr. San Rafael, I just thinking into solar. This road was damaged before they spent all this money harassing Mr. Leonard Clinton them with lawyers from Trinidad paying millions and millions of dollars on a case that have no merit. So I know you, I can see you are different. Now, tell them straight, these monies they are spending uselessly. Spend it and sit there and stop it. Matt, you must talk to pirate, you know. You must tell your pirate, my pirate, our pirate, that this road needs to take good care of at this time. You know, see somebody just lost their life the other day.
Well, again, that's the first message of the party rep this morning there. I know she spoke about Carnival, but my priority was fixing the road. I'm sure she got the message because I was told maybe a couple hours ago that some heavy machine is on the road there to Soufriere, and they're making an attempt to clean up the road after the disaster there on the weekend. But Sam, this is how we wrap it up. And again, we have to pay a lot of focus to our roads in the Soufriere area.
Well, after the rains
Yes.
that no one expected, and the amount of debris that we got, Jungle Base sent out our Bobcat to help to clear it up because, first of all, it's a hazard. And secondly, we didn't want our Christmas guests, and right now is the peak of the season. We didn't want them to see the place looking like a disaster zone. And we were overwhelmed with the amount. Our equipment was overwhelmed, and we blew the head gasket. So, we tried our best, not for fee from government, but I do believe that when something happens, you see, it's kudme, whether it's business or an individual, we have to go back to trying to see how we can help to support because we can't rely on government for everything. And I know that they had the equipment at Point Michel and so on, and we spoke to the PAL rep also. Thank you. And Jungle Base spoke to and the authorities, and we have 2 pieces of equipment now clearing the road. So we want to thank, again, we're not ungrateful. We want to thank the government for their support in clearing the road. And so to my friend in Tortola, yeah,
The BVI.
the BVI. So much hasn't changed, but again, I'm here on cue, and again because I do believe that we all need to talk not about each other but to each other, and in a civil way and in a respectful way. And you'll find if we talk to each other, maybe we do agree on a lot of things, and maybe we can get a lot of things done. Putting our energies behind that, but we shouldn't let it break down. This is a new year. Maybe it's time for a new attitude. And let's see how we can, we're not going to agree on everything. Matt, I think you should invite the prime minister in and people aren't going to agree on everything, but at least we could be respectful of each other. And it's a small island. We could respect each other. And when we start respecting, maybe we even love each other. And maybe we find, like my friend from Tortola that used to give me a lot of blows, maybe you find that Sam not such a bad guy after all, and so on. And we find, so, we need to start the new year right with a new attitude towards each other and respect and a new attitude towards our island and the development of our island, and see how we can come together to achieve certain goals, certain clear goals. We won't agree on everything. We won't agree on politics. You should never agree. Everybody shouldn't be on the same side on politics, but at least we can agree to be respectful of each other, notwithstanding, and we need each other. We need each other for this island to achieve its potential. Yeah.
Yes, as I said earlier, I'm having conversations with the Prime Minister. I'm hoping to invite him sometime soon so we can continue. And I've invited him many times. I'm hoping this time he'll take my invitation and come speak with the people.
Well, I use my influence, as you say.
You might, huh?
I know I have. And PM, you listen to Matt's program. Come, I think you can. It's safe here. The Lions not that bad. No, but he's the prime minister of everyone, and knowing the prime minister as I know him, but he's been on on
Kyrie?
when, but he's been on this station on my program when
Uh, uh,
Kenya and I had our program too.
he did a voice
Yeah,
call.
he's the,
I want him to come
he
here
did
and
it. No, no, man.
interact.
Well, I'm sure he'll be happy to not even once. I think
He should come more.
periodically he should just talk to everyone, and it's okay. It's you guys won't agree with on everything that he says. Some people want to, they're not letting go of things and so on. But he is the prime minister, and we can only have one prime minister. And let us see. You can disagree. I'm not saying you have to vote for him on election time, but at least engage in a respectful manner.
Thank you very much, Sam. It was a pleasure. I hope you come back soon, huh?
Of course, Matt. And take care, and happy New Year's to everyone, and prosperous and healthy New Year.
Thank you. Let's try out join our friends here from Flow.
You asked for it and you got it. A quicker way to pay your bills online. It's fast, secure, and easy to use. No registration, no additional fees. Flow is now offering FastPay, an online service that allows you to settle your bills in less than 2 minutes. Need a receipt? FastPay will send it to your email immediately. Use FastPay now for convenience, safety, and efficiency at discoverflow.co/fastpay.
Then you're on your way.
Flow is keeping you connected.
Here's a fun fact. In just 29 seconds, you can say goodbye to paper bills forever. Seriously, in 29 seconds. That's less time than this ad. Head over to discoverflow.co or visit us in-store and update your contact information now. By October 1st, your bills will be digital, easy to access, secure, and hassle-free. So what are you waiting for? This ad still has 2 seconds left, and you could have already gone paperless.
Flow is going green. As Flow continues to enhance its services and communication with you, the company announces a transition from paper to electronic bills from October 1st, 2024. With Flow e-bills, customers will receive billing information securely and conveniently without any interruptions. From October 1st, enjoy faster and efficient delivery. No more waiting for postal delivery. 24/7 access. Access your bill online anytime. Maintaining an eco-friendly environment. Reduce paper clutter. Convenient payment options. Pay via MyFlow app directly from the link in the email. Flow customers who are new to e-billing should provide or update their personal contact information with a valid email address. To ensure your personal contact information is up to date, visit any Flow store. Contact customer care at any time. Toll free at 1-800-804-2994 or visit discoverflow.co. Flow is keeping you connected.
When I reach any party, everybody don't know. Oh, oh, oh. If you think I'm crazy, it's the music that got me so. Oh, oh. When my party people, throw your hands in the sky. I. Come, my friends, I need you. It's time to raise the vibe with your hands in the air, hands in the air, hands in the air, hands in the air. This is how we flow. Yeah. Flow is love. Yeah. Hands in the air, hands in the air, hands in the air, hands in the air. This is how we flow. Yeah. Grab somebody and tell them hello. Happiness will be connect to flow. Smile and cheer because it's me flow. Grab somebody and tell them hello.
We got about 10 minutes outside the hour of 3. Good afternoon, Dominica, and welcome. Welcome to the Flow Hour right here live on the Carrier FM and the Q95. Hope you guys having a fantastic day so far. Good afternoon to you.
Independent ladies, step to the front. Oh, oh, oh. Better are you ready?
Of course, I would just like to guys know that Flow wishes to inform customers in the formal Saint-Sauveur and Petit-Soufrière areas of an issue currently affecting mobile calls. Our team is actively working to resolve the matter and restore service as quickly as possible. We apologize for any inconvenience caused and thank you for your understanding.
we connect to flow. Smile and cheer because it's we flow. Grab somebody and tell them hello. Grab somebody and hold them. Jam with each other. Grab somebody and hold them. Jam with each other. Hold them close, don't go nowhere. Hold them close, don't go nowhere. With your hands in the air, hands in the air, hands in the air, hands in the air. This is how we flow. Yeah. Flow is love. Yeah. Hands in the air, hands in the air, hands in the air, hands in the air. This is how we flow. Yeah. Grab somebody and tell them hello. Happiness where we connect. Smile and cheer because it's we flow. Grab somebody and tell them hello. Grab somebody and hold them there. Jam with each other. Grab somebody and hold them there. Jam with each other. Hold them close, don't go nowhere. Hold them close, don't go nowhere.
Hello, welcome to Flow.
Yo! This is Christmas season, baby! Whoa! What else? Look it, it's a big Merry Christmas, Daddy Sean! Merry Christmas, Hurricane! Big Ben! 1, 2, 3, on the Christmas tree! 1, 2, 3, what's your name for me? 1, 2, 3, on the Christmas tree! Open your present, tell me what you need! Wish you a Merry Christmas! Wish you, Merry Christmas! Wish you a Merry Christmas! And a Happy New Year! Everybody's talking because Christmas coming. Drinking starting to spend Christmas morning. Oh, we are in a party at my house. Everybody happy, everybody singing. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas.
Of course, compliments of the season are going out to you and yours. Hope you guys having a fantastic Friday so far. It's the weekend. Thank God. It's Friday. Cheers to the weekend. If you're celebrating your birthday today, I want to say happy birthday to you, all right?
We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Welcome to my party. Where's all the Booyah Master and crew? Where's my Booyah Army? Once you feel the beat, you don't know we feel it already. Once you hear the sound, there is no backing down now. When the rhythm hits you, you don't know we feel it already. Makes you want to go and wind down, down. Like a love, we marching to the sound. Before your army, we coming down to town. Like a love, put some respect on the scene. Before your army, before your queen. I don't know, but I've been told. It's for your time to rock the world. I don't know, but I've been told. It's for your time to rock the world. I say 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Give me some more, booyah. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Give me some more, booyah. There's a booyah tidal wave. You don't know we feel it already. Sweeping across the region, there is no backing down now. Booyah bet is action. You don't know we feel it already. But we don't come here for no confusion. We match it to the sound. Booyah army, we coming down to town. Like a two, three, four. Give me some more, booyah. 1, 2, 3, 4. Give me some more, booyah. Your time ain't stopping us. We don't wanna fight, we don't wanna fuss. We are in the spotlight, let us shine. And no more time, we are be left behind. Everybody wants a little piece of the pie. Nobody here by my tiny line. That's where you was born in the nature right. We think to make the people that want to put your massive love. We rock the show, rock the show. It's time to let things go, but let them know, let them know. That's where you come to take over the place. Right now, boy, you're gonna win the race. Say, boy, you're to the world, boy, you're to the world. We marching to the sound, for your army. We coming down to town, like a dance. Put some respect on the beat, for your army. For your way. Beyond it. Oh, yeah. Not got my it's got to be like that. Yeah. But look at me. I'm resilient. I've been for battles and wars. I got what I am. Yeah. 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 Ready to fight another war like I never fought before. Yeah. Against the wicked and disease, full of greed, I rise against the odds. One day I will defeat Kagama. Champion, I am a champion. Champion, oh yes, I am a champion. Oh, I am a champion. I am a champion. Champion, oh yes, I am a champion. What a beat and go can I champion from within, I built it from my core. I'm never satisfied, I keep wanting more. If I knock at that door and then I'm going through that door, let's say you see it, then it's close. If you don't see it, you can know. But I'm a respectable. So best believe I'm climbing up the road. I am a champion. Champion. Oh yes, I am a champion. Oh, I am. Hey, yeah man. Got the chance. Oh, oh, oh. Okay. Pop it on. Let everybody know the party on. All them pretty gal, bring them from. Tell the bartender we coming down. Cause we feeling it, we don't wanna wait. When you read them start, I like a better way. Do your music, got to feel trade. Not too long before it sit down on the crack space. This party ready to pop. Then the voltage up. We got them winding up. Then the voltage up. We ready to gear up. Then the voltage up. This party cannot stop. The DJ. The party 9.
20 minutes outside of the hour 3. I want to extend out a happy birthday greetings going out to Keisha up there in Guadeloupe, who's celebrating her birthday today. Wishing you all the best on your special day, and of course, many, many more birthdays to come. Have a good one today.
Give me something cause I broke up on this hot chick. This body ready to talk. We got them winding up. Then the voltage up. We ready to gear up. Then the voltage up. This body cannot stop. Mr. DJ. Put up your hand there. Show me who you are. Wind up on the girl there. Fuck up on her display. Give it to me better there. Fuck me right there. DJ plus better there. Tell me how you say. This party ready to pop.
Turn the voltage up, Mr. DJ. Girl, them winding up, Mr. DJ. Turn the voltage up, Mr. DJ. We ready to cheer up, Mr. DJ.
It's carnival like rocked in my boundaries. Dipping wine from both man and woman. Out of control under my liquor. They hold me back. So I'm your quiet type of girl, the type of girl you would bring home, the type of girl to hold it down. So I've made a resolution, not a New Year's resolution, but a vow resolution. Taking back the years I've missed, behavior tend me to miss it. Call me your back on the list. Damn, dancing in my body, dressed up in nice and hype. Cause my vow resolution is, it's carnival like rocked in my boundaries, they hold me back. Dipping wine from both man and woman, they hold me back. Out of control under my liquor, they hold me back. They hold me back. Yeah. Cause when I bend back, I show back, I wind back, I'm not back, but damn, they can't believe that. Cause when I bend back, I show back, I wind back, I'm not back, damn, they can't hold me back. This year I need to be with me, but his plan doesn't include me, not even that he's gonna stop me. I remember what I say about the carnival, the 10 girls to one man, yeah. That's why he wanna be alone. Free single turning up his phone. No baby boy, you should have known. When Sparrow came up with that song and everybody sang along. Remember, 10 to 1 is murder. This carnival like rocked in my boundaries.
Can't hold me back.
Dipping wine from both man and woman. Can't hold me back. Out of control under my liquor. Can't hold me back. Can't hold me back.
Of course, I just want to make sure you guys continue to make that switch. Sign up with Flow today. Bundle up your services, of course. Pay your bills on time and in full, of course. You guys have a few more days left to be a part of this Christmas campaign, of course. We have been Christmasing throughout the whole month of December.
This carnival like rocked in my boundaries.
It's your voice. You know, it's a shout out to the flow. Champion. Carnival emancipation is a thing I see, but some people never say so. So they come and try to take the carnival from me, but the people love their CEO. So when they see Professor King, they stand each other floor. Hurry people, this could be a calypso show. Like we heading straight to the finals, and we not take the rookie as we rivals. Nothing. Tell them nothing cannot stop this CEO. And if you vex up onto the show, nothing. Tell them nothing cannot stop this CEO. Nothing. They could be vex. You wanna party? Come see what we do. Come chill with King, Dive, Plantain and Shelly. No other nasty days, Eric Lincoln happy. Everybody join in the pool party. Don't look at me, love me, carnival. Don't wanna let go, not at all. I wanna be old and great, taking a few with breath, jumping in my senses. Tell them nothing and stop this zero. Nothing. And if you vex up onto the show, nothing at all. Nothing and stop this zero. Shout out to the flow. You're rocking with the Titans, minus the mythology, the legend, kings and giants of the hero industry. Party not a party till we enter the vicinity. Girls in abundance like a straight in fantastic instrumental in the vocals, so we play with that. See, walking out with brain, whether we rock and whether we talk. I'm sorry, Madam Speaker. When they do your music, come to music, and the teacher, you never feel no fear. That's with culture. There could be facts. Tell them nothing can stop this zero. And if you vex up onto the show, nothing. Tell them nothing can stop this zero. There could be vex. There could be vex. Tell them nothing can stop this zero. There could be vex. Shelley, and if you vex up onto the
City, please don't stop what you're doing. I like the way how you're turning. You from shooting who you're ready. When the air comes up with water, we go back to a return. When the moon up with the water, king you don't say it's a mash up. Give it to me, give it to me, give it to me when it comes up, baby. I like the way how you're turning. I'm gonna get up on you, baby. I always wanted a foreign. I said the local already. I love my way to go fully, but I never had a friend. Who can be my two neck for say? Yes, talk about two neck for say. Who can be more than one bullet?
Yeah, man, of course, and I want to say a special good afternoon going out to Granny April. How you doing today? A blessed and happy Friday going out to you. Compliments of the season going out to you as well. How you doing? Good afternoon. Also shouting out Evelyn, good afternoon to you as well. How you doing?
We enjoy our lives though. Enjoy your life. Enjoy your life. Listen now, like the shot. Let nobody stress you out. Like the shot. Let nothing stress you out. Take it to them. Enjoy your life. No stress. Enjoy your life. We wanna live our lives happy and free. We don't want nobody to bother we. Negative energy, step up from me. We wanna enjoy our lives unconditionally. Yeah. We just wanna enjoy life. Oh, na 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 na.
And I'm just enjoying life. Because remember, life is short. Let nobody stress you out, please. Enjoy your life.
Let nothing stress you out. Enjoy your life. Everybody, enjoy your life. Give it to them. Life is short, man. Enjoy your life. Enjoy your life. Here we go. When you see we, you better leave. We don't want no drama around. We wanna enjoy life quiet and peacefully. Just wanna live life happy and free. We just wanna enjoy life.
Oh, na 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 na.
We just enjoy life. But life is short, life is short.
All right, guys, just keep it locked. Stay tuned. It's already at 3:30 on the clock.
Flow is going green. As Flow continues to enhance its services and communication with you, the company announces a transition from paper to electronic bills from October 1st, 2024. With Flow e-bills, customers will receive billing information securely and conveniently without any interruptions. From October 1st, enjoy faster and efficient delivery. No more waiting for postal delivery. 24/7 access. Access your bill online anytime. Maintaining an eco-friendly environment. Reduce paper clutter. Convenient payment options. Pay via MyFlow app directly from the link in the email. Flow customers who are new to e-billing should provide or update their personal contact information with a valid email address. To ensure your personal contact information is up to date, visit any Flow store. Contact customer care at any time. Toll free at 1-800-804-2994 or visit discoverflow.co. Flow is keeping you connected.
Here's a fun fact. In just 29 seconds, you can say goodbye to paper bills forever. Seriously, in 29 seconds. That's less time than this ad. Head over to discoverflow.co or visit us in-store and update your contact information now. By October 1st, your bills will be digital, easy to access, secure, and hassle-free. So what are you waiting for? This ad still has 2 seconds left, and you could have already gone paperless.
You an easy way to pay.
You asked for it and you got it. A quicker way to pay your bills online. It's fast, secure, and easy to use. No registration, no additional fees. Flow is now offering FastPay, an online service that allows you to settle your bills in less than 2 minutes. Need a receipt? FastPay will send it to your email immediately. Use FastPay now for convenience, safety, and efficiency at discoverflow.co/fastpay.
Then you're on your way.
Flow is keeping you connected.
The new Flow Store on Wheels is here and ready to serve you. We promised you innovation and we have delivered. The Flow Store on Wheels is equipped to provide all the great products and services available at our Flow Experience Center. If you want to purchase the latest smartphones, sign up for a new service, log a fault, pay a bill, or simply make an inquiry, you can do it all at our Flow Store on Wheels. Now that's what you call full service on wheels. So when you see our Flow Store on Wheels in your community or on your street, don't be shy. Stop by and let our professional team serve you. The new Flow Store on Wheels, convenience and reliability at your doorstep. Coming soon to a location near you.
Okay, Max, if I'm going to steal Christmas this year, I'll need a smart TV to keep an eye on the who's, a smartphone to call for backup, cash, and a stove to bake this ham. Seriously, I can get all this for free if I sign up for Flow.
With Christmasing with thousands of gifts, even the Grinch would love. Sign up for a postpaid mobile bundle or high-speed broadband and win big every week. Visit discoverflow.co now. Christmas in this year.
Can I have this? We have an extra $400 from Flow. You can have everything you want.
Gifts with Flow. With Christmas in, win weekly prices up to 10,000. Sign up for a postpaid bundle or a broadband plan. We Christmasing with free groceries from Flow. Plus, a chance to win weekly prizes and up to $10,000 cash. Head over to your nearest Flow store or visit discoverflow.co. Flow, we Christmasing. More gifts with Flow.
To Contagious Entertainment and Elite Productions would like to wish you and yours happy holidays. We will be hosting our 2025 The Premium Brunch Experience on Sunday, April 27th, 2025. For more details, log on to www.eliteproductions.com. Aura awaits you.
We enjoying our lives now.
enjoy your life. Tell them. Enjoy your life. Listen now, like to shot. Let nobody stress you out. Like to shot. Let nothing stress you out. Give it to them. Enjoy your life. No stress. Enjoy your life. Here we go. We wanna live our lives happy and free. We don't want nobody to bother me. Negative energy, step up on me. We wanna enjoy our lives unconditionally. Yeah. We just wanna enjoy life. Oh na 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 na. I'm just enjoying life. Cause life is short, life is short. Let nobody stress you out. Life is short. Let nothing stress you out. Let me tell you now, enjoy your life. Oh. Everybody, enjoy your life. Give it to them. Life is short, man. Enjoy your life. Enjoy your life. Here we go. When you see we, you better listen. We don't want no drama around. We wanna enjoy life, quiet and peacefully. Just wanna live life, happy and free. We just wanna enjoy life. Oh na 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 na.
22 minutes moving up to the hour 4. Welcome back to the Flow Hour right here live on the Carry FM and the Q95.
Let nothing stress you up. Enjoy your life. 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 Free up yourself, man. Because you don't know the life is short, boy. Let go, man.
Eu pensava na bicicleta e eu não sabia disso, ok? Essa da bicicleta com uma certa vez eu amo lá. Se eu pensei, puxa, tem uma besteira do café com sal. Yeah, mas now we pay, yeah. Yeah, mas now we pay, yeah. Na cheta o que você sempre o para o passe para descer da sua dança. Não me marca uma tica muito difícil da cabelo show. Se só descer mate se o chile usa tu fica bom. La tica também, só se se sabe. No acau bem, tá capete. La mega sei, só e kawashi. People.
Café, mon BTG, yo critiqué, yo comme mal parlé, mon BTG, me chassé. Mon café, mon BTG, yo critiqué, mal parlé, mon B, me chassé. Yeah. Break me, but I can't know more about what they say. My Millie, my Millie, my Millie, my Millie. No. Even that you today go come back your way. For all the times like you cheat, someday you will pay. If only you stop a while and look at yourself. Somehow you see the joy you missed in someone else. Life would not would be so good if we were not in happy shape. Do good unto others, no matter the price you'll have to pay. Family, 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 family. No. Lily, lose your corner and chain. It's time to exercise your rights. Show them your stuff. Show them what you can do. Watch the body roll. And lose control. Body in the place. Man, big as from when your waist. Check the left to right. Do your thing all night. Think the girl a test. Move aside, go take a rest. Man, I like them deep. Make me body cheap. When I have a monkey, man, I'm feeling so irene. Then you up to wine. Shake up your waistline. When I have a monkey, man, they holding us in time. Come. In the party, she thinks she bad. Falls in a promotion. Working on she bam bam. Don't let your feet lose. Hey. That's what you represent. In a big session, I'm the running jam. Everybody stand aside and watch them box bam bam. So much beat to ease. Rocking to the beat. Why do we have big party that boosts me energy? Why? Showing up she motion. Working up she bam bam.